Wednesday morning. This is Breakfast News Live on GTV, where we're bringing news updates across the country and international. We're streaming live on Facebook at GTV Ghana and across all our social media platforms at GTV Ghana. We're still in the Pinktober month, Breast Cancer Month. Don't forget to get screened. I am Valencia Tete. Now let's get the detail of the stories. The Chief Executive of the Mineral Commission, Mr. Martin AC, says he's not in favor of the recent calls on the outright ban on small-scale mining in the country. Responding to questions before Parliament's Committee on Government Assurances on Monday, October 7, Mr. AC argued that imposing a complete ban would be unfair, as this would negatively affect small-scale miners who are operating legally and adhering to regulations within the sector.
Ban small-scale mining. Chair, this is my understanding. It means that don't allow anybody to do it lawfully. I understand the situation and the backlash from Ghanaians. Oh, stop it all together and reset, or pause or whatever. Then the guy in Tinga, the guy in Dakupe who has sunk a borehole, who has spent money to sink a shaft, he says, hang on, I am not by the white water or Pra or Cobra. Why do you want to, Chair, if you permit me, punish me because folks along the Pra, Brim and Co are misbehaving? Why don't you go and deal with that problem and let me do my work lawfully? Those are the issues we are faced with. So I advise government, and I told my minister that it will not be proper for us to have a wholesale ban. That's number one. On the grounds that a lot of them are, I mean, the whole of Takwa is underground mining, 5,000. So the moment you say we are banning small-scale mining, not Galamsey, because Galamsey is banned, it means they are asking 5,000 people in Takwa not to work, punishing them for something that is not their fault. So this is some of the conundrum that we face.
Organized labor has resolved to go ahead with a nationwide strike on October 10th, despite the engagements with the president. The organized labor's position was stated after a meeting with the leaders of various unions and associations at the TUC Hall conference room in Accra on Monday, October 7. After hours of discussion behind closed doors, the TUC Secretary General, Mr. Joshua Ansah, who is the spokesperson for the organized labor, read a brief communique maintaining that they are not satisfied with the outcome of the meeting with the president. Governor and 8 other Democracy Hub protesters have been granted bail by the High Court in Accra. They are admitted on bail in a sum of 70,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. They are to deposit their Ghana cards and provide 2 digital addresses at the court registry. The accused persons are to report to the police once a week as a part of the bail condition.
The accused persons released on bail are Elom Abebiu, popularly known as Ama Governor, Emmanuel Jan, Emmanuel Kobina Ado, Ziblim Yakubu, Ohiniba Prempe, Philip Owusu Kobina, Akesebek Desmond von Kofi, and Sadiq Yakubu. The judge, Justice Comfort Tashiame, says she found merit in the bail application filed by lawyers for the alleged protesters and subsequently granted them bail. They were rounded up together with some 50 persons who were currently before the circuit court. They were rounded during a protest organized by Democracy Hub at the 37 roundabout in Accra over illegal small-scale mining, popularly referred to as Galamsey, and economic mismanagement. They are before the court on charges including conspiracy to commit crime, unlawful assembly, causing unlawful damage, offensive conduct and breach of public peace, and assault on public officers. Meanwhile, the High Court has refused bail to Oliver Baka Vomawo, a key member of the Democracy Hub protests. Mr. Baka Vomawo was arrested with several other protesters and remanded to custody by an Accra Circuit Court. The High Court took into consideration his pending trial at the High Court for treason charges. The judge, however, ordered the circuit court to begin his trial immediately or would admit Mr. Bakavomawo to bail after 72 hours. Oliver Bakavomawo is on trial for 8 charges of conspiracy, unlawful assembly, and causing unlawful damage. The rest are offensive conduct conducive to the breach of peace, assault on public officer, defacement of public notice, stealing and offensive conduct. Some other protesters have each been granted bail in the sum of 20,000 cedis with 2 sureties. The court ordered the prosecution to verify their digital addresses.
Some applicants for the ECOWAS or Ghana card were stranded on Monday due to an industrial action by the National Identification Authority at Shashi in Accra. The NIA had scheduled to start registration of minors from October 7, 2024, but a new applicant failed to get their details captured on the national database. GBC News gathered that registration for foreigners, however, went on.
There were some officials from the National Identification Authority on hand at the Shiashi office to attend to potential clients. Information gathered by GBC News indicate that there was an arrangement in place to register minors from age 6 to 14 from October 7th, but many clients were disappointed by the sudden turn of events by officials of the NIA. Even though officials of the NIA were tight-lipped on the situation, a notice had been placed on the main entrance which read, "NIA is on strike, but foreigners' identity management system is still in operation." Sources indicate that the strike is due to failure by management to implement an approved scheme of service for staff of the authority. Mr. Kofi Adams, together with his daughter, Adams Vida, were disappointed by the action of the NIA officials.
By striking, I'm saying kind of create is organized labor. I want to trace on striking. I'm on the 10th of October. But the name say immediately strike. I say chassis and then brand on the 7th. By almost strike.
When they came, I was in school, so I couldn't do it. It's really necessary. As a Ghanaian, you have to get an identification card.
It was ongoing and kind of you vacate and you come home and all that. Why didn't you take the advantage that time to do it?
I was in the process doing it, but due to some work, and then I'm a student. I completed last year, but work, I have to work, and then I don't get time.
Mr. Emmanuel Nkansa was scheduled to pick up his ECOWAS or Ghana card by Monday, October 7th, but that did not materialize.
I came here last Friday. I was here to replace my Ghana card replacement. But they say there's a mutimi, yes, mutimi, say, any strike in front of me, people about say, they will press in a juma. May be a sa. By the end of the day, you see a strike, and Tiasi, strong power, Munka bin we go cardinal,
The sources also indicate that engagements are still ongoing to see how best the issue can be resolved to allow continuation of the registration process at all levels.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, says no economic strategy can succeed in the fourth industrial revolution without a strong foundation in digitization. When he officially introduced the Citizens App platform in Accra, Dr. Bawumia said the manual way of delivering government services has stifled Ghana's economic growth over the years. The new mobile app is therefore aims to harness the power of technology for a more connected, productive and inclusive economy.
The Citizens App connects the public to all government institutions with the overriding objective of encouraging interactions between citizens and government institutions. The app, which is efficient, secure and user-friendly, is embedded with a platform named CADIS to centralize and streamline government services, making it easier for citizens to interact with government agencies. Citizens can easily access integrated services from different government agencies, including passport issuance, tax filings, and payments, clearing of goods, permits, company registration, insurance, application for birth certificates, government's job opportunities and vehicle registrations. It will also boost government's revenue mobilization and reduce the human interface in government businesses. With the Ghana card, everyone can access the platform. The Commissioner General of GRA, Madam Julia Essiem, said the app will simplify filing of taxes, enhance transparency and good governance.
From clearing goods from the port to registering vehicles, from filing taxes to applying permits, the Citizen app will touch every aspect of you and I, all our lives, in a way that reduces frustration and increases convenience.
The Minister for Finance, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, said this will improve the turnaround time and enhance revenue mobilization.
This platform will be a gateway to a more connected, inclusive, and prosperous Ghana. By simplifying access to government services, improving revenue collection, and promoting transparency, the Citizen app is poised to transform the way we govern and manage our nation's finances.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, described the app as a new era of citizen engagement.
We are moving in a direction which has major opportunities. I mean, we are just now scratching the surface, but I think once the system comes in, doing business in Ghana would be very, very easy and smooth. Paying taxes will be very easy. Getting your passport will be very easy. Registering a business is very easy. You know, you're going to make life easier for the citizens.
Dr. Bawumia said no economy can thrive without digitization in the fourth industrial revolution.
Indeed, many people have even questioned why, as an economist, vice president, would even become, the flag bearer of various digitalization efforts of the government of Ghana. I'm grateful that I don't have to answer these cynics anymore, because the answer is becoming more obvious every day. The fact is that as the world enters the fourth industrial revolution, it has become obvious that no economic strategy can succeed without a strong digital foundation.
He encouraged Ghanaians to use the platform to access all government services and also share feedback to make the platform better.
As Ghana prepares to go to the polls on December 7, the media has been cautioned to be careful about the content taken from the internet to broadcast to the public, as some of the information on the internet can be misleading. At a forum organized by the National Media Commission and the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, a distinguished research fellow from the Rose University in South Africa, Professor Emeritus Guy Berger, and has called the need for a fair and balanced coverage, particularly as misinformation looms about the election.
The event, themed The Links Between African Journalism, Big Tech, Elections and Data, How to Fill the Gap, drew attention to challenges faced by the media in covering elections in a rapidly evolving digital landscape. In his keynote address, a distinguished research fellow from the Rhodes University, South Africa, Professor Emeritus Guy Berger, outlined the profound impact that big tech, the most prosperous and influential technology companies in the IT industry, can have on election coverage. He urged media practitioners to approach data with caution and ensure that they respect privacy and accuracy in their functions.
The social media is driving a lot of people out of journalism because there's so much abuse, certainly where I come from. There'll be a big conference in the AU on that date, and the last day is World Press Freedom Day. A country that led the charge for independence, for Pan-Africanism, this Ghanaians, you have a key role to play in the who and the how, and you do grow a particular kind of crop that's very nice to drink. So you can fill the cup. May your cup runneth over.
In his address, the Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, assured the public that GBC would offer equal access to all certified political parties.
We will do that without fear or favor. We also do a little business for those who can buy additional airtime to get their story, their messages out. And we are doing that because paying TV license is not the most favorite things to do. When GBC has the necessary resources, we'll ensure that we do not sell airtime to political parties. But for now, we are doing that to ensure that we pay our bills.
A panel discussion focused on strategies to ensure transparency and accountability in the way the media covers the elections. Samuela Korte, GBC News.
At a forum organized by the National Media Commission and the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, some participants expressed their thoughts on Professor Guy Berger's insight, highlighting that impacts of his recommendation could have impact on the media landscape in Ghana. They called for a regulatory framework to work to enhance journalistic integrity in the election season.
We all use social media, we all use the internet, we are all users of the digital space, but we don't understand anything at all about their implications for society, for the economy, for peace, for social cohesion, and so on and so forth. And these are the questions that the professor from South Africa was talking about. But one of the biggest issues or questions he raised is about regulation. How can this whole industry, how can this whole universe of communication, how can these big telecom companies and their activities be regulated?
As a nation, we have a responsibility to ensure that those who provide those platforms on which information runs have a responsibility. And we must ensure through regulation, through law, and through all the tools available that we do not sit unconcerned while those platforms are used to promote disinformation, misinformation, hate language, and all the rest of it.
And on the foreign front, Ethiopia's parliament has approved the appointment of a new president to replace the country's first female head of state, Said Wig Ziwade. Taid Asteke Selassie, foreign minister, since February has taken up largely ceremonial role.
In Ethiopia, political power lines with the Prime Minister, who is Mr. Abiy Ahmed. Saher work had reportedly fallen out with Mr. Abiy in recent years. The Prime Minister's bargain for her initial appointment in 2018 was hailed as a breakthrough for gender equality in Ethiopian politics. On Saturday, Saher work posted a brief and somewhat cryptic message on X, implying she was unhappy as a result of staying silent for the past years. During her presidency, she made several calls for peace across the country, though she was criticized for not talking more about the gender-based violence during the 2-year civil war in Tigray. But it is believed she was concerned about the current conflicts in Oromia and Hamara regions.
Now let's have the Alpha winning Lotto for Alpha Monday. The Alpha Lotto winning numbers for Alpha Monday: 19, 13, 43, 70, and 20. The Alpha Lotto winning numbers for Alpha Monday again: 19, 19, 13, 13, 43, 43, 70, 70, and 20, 20. This is where we end Breakfast News Live on GTV. Don't forget to log on to our website for more news updates. We'll be back on the Breakfast Show for more updates.
Policies and programs such as the free SHS as well as
Galamsey now. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Today is the 8th of October 2024, which means we have 60 days to election 2024 and 90 days to the end of the second term of President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Bawumia. Welcome. This is hashtag GTV Breakfast. Today there's going to be an anti-LGBTQ march. We'll update you on that. We'll tell you what happened to the Democracy Hub protesters yesterday in court, right here on Headlines with me and my guests. The WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. Beautiful morning to you. Make a blow your kiss. Mwah. She's next.
Hi, Kav. Good morning and good morning, fellow Ghanaians. Today promises to be another interesting one on our Ghana Wins, our manifesto watch. We're bringing you another presidential candidate, Reverend Christian Kwabena Andrews, popularly known as Osofo Chirabosom, will be on the show. And he's saying that, look, good leadership, law and order must work together to give Ghana a prosperous future. We'll be having a sit down with him right after Headlines and gauge the mind of this leader. What's up with you, Jay, on lifestyle?
Thank you so much, Mortiti. Good morning to you all once again. I was expecting a case, but it didn't come, so I'll take Kafi's on and put it right here. Now, today we're on Earth and Talent, and speaking about talent, a couple of years ago, all the way in Colorado in the US of A, an autistic young man, 11 years old, his father discovered that he was a piano prodigy. I don't know if you remember the story. It's like you can discover talent in the most unlikeliest of places. And so over the weekend, my producer was in town at the FS Sutherland Park, and he saw two of them. So this morning we're having a chat with them to find out about their creativity, how far they've come, and of course their names are Juicy and OSB Swagger. They'll be in the studio this morning to tell us about their journeys and their musical careers thus far. So expect that on the lighter side of things, on the lifestyle segment.
Okay, so at the top of the hour, we'll be taking you to Adan and looking at how people are struggling to get an education, having to cross dangerous water bodies with no life jackets. How is that working out? That's on our public interest segment coming up in a short while. Matiti, there's something happening in the BFS Clinic, correct?
Yes, we are looking at breast cancer this morning, and Mary Moses is in the studio. No, it's the awareness month, and so we'll be looking at living with breast cancer. Here's some stories to inspire people who have just been diagnosed and to also push people to go and get themselves checked.
Okay, so that's day 8 of Pinktober. We're wearing pink, and it's for a reason. Stick around. This is GTV Breakfast, BFS Clinic, coming up after the motivation from Jay. Do not go anywhere. Our WhatsApp number, as always, 055-556-1034. Start sending your questions to Dr. Osei on breast cancer issues, and he will answer as many of them as possible. Once again, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Mwah.
And we're back, still hashtag GTV Breakfast. For something that started out quite small, the effects and consequences have been far-reaching and quite devastating. And now we say, stop Galamsey now. You know, for something that started so little, we didn't foresee that the effects on our environment will be this bad. It's really, really crazy. And speaking about little things that cause a lot of havoc, I know there's no love lost between us and mosquitoes, especially those of us here in Ghana and the rest of Africa. None of us here likes mosquitoes. They are very small creatures, and yet they cause a lot of harm. And our proverb this morning, it's like you are taking how small the mosquito is and trying to bring some kind of inspiration and some kind of story for you this morning. It goes, if you think you're too small to make a difference, try spending the night with a mosquito. You know the way you can even be in your mosquito net, and the net is supposed to prevent them from entering. They can be buzzing around for so long, you end up waking up from not sleeping. You know what? Anyway, it simply means it conveys the idea that no matter how small or insignificant one may feel, they can still have a significant impact. I remember that back in the day, one of the watches sellers in our neighborhood decided to raise their prices without telling us about it. And so while we said we won't buy the watch again, we started grumbling. And it was a very small, humorous thing. Before we knew it, everybody in the neighborhood said, don't buy the watch again. Guess what happened? She reduced her prices and said, you know what, she's sorry, blah, blah, blah. And in 1955, all the way in Alabama, Montgomery, in the US of A, Rosa Parks sat on a segregated bus and said she's not going to give up a seat for a white person. She was arrested and all, and they were led to a boycott of the buses. And for over a year, the buses, black people were not boarding the buses. And after a year, the buses became non-segregated. And it was a very powerful moment in the civil rights movement. And also in 1968, Aikwe also wrote The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born. If you haven't read that book yet, please, you should, because the lessons in that book, they still apply to us today. So the littlest of things, they always make a significant contribution. Don't count them out. They do make the greatest of contributions. And now I'll hand over to Mortiti in the BFS Clinic.
Thank you, Jay, for that, quote. Very riveting, and the littlest of chances you should take. It will make a difference. And you started off with the galamsey as well. It's something that's been topical for a while now. And so now we're sitting down for our BFS Clinic breast cancer conversation. And over 4,000 are diagnosed every year in Ghana. The numbers in Africa are worse. And most of them are diagnosed when the cases are getting worse, at the dire stages of breast cancer. And so join this conversation, send us your thoughts and your comments, your questions as well. If you have a relative who is battling with breast cancer, if you've just been diagnosed, let's hear from you. 055-556-1034 is our WhatsApp number. And Mr. Sai from Medimosis, Dr. Sai from Medimosis is Prince Osei is our guest this morning. He's a usual on the show, but today we're not talking about prostate. We're talking about breast cancer. So let's get to know how differently Medimosis handles this as well. Dr. Sai, good morning. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
It's a very somber feeling when you talk about cancer, because anytime you hear cancer, it's like a death sentence. It was like how we used to hear about HIV and AIDS before, we realized there was treatment. But even with cancer, the fact that there's chemotherapy and everything, there's still that very serious care. How do you identify that there's a problem with a breast that needs immediate attention?
Okay, thank you. I always say that as humans, even as women, because we are dealing with breast cancer, and not to say men don't get, but mostly women are mostly diagnosed of breast cancer. We should know ourselves. You knowing yourself will be the best way to detect if there is any abnormality. So you knowing yourself, it's advisable that every month you need to do a breast self-examination so that you'll be able to know if there is any changes in your breast, and you could be able to detect it early. With the statistics that you made, the 4,000 people annually getting breast cancer, that is true, and that is what those who happen to come to the hospital. There are so many of us, so many people who get the condition and don't end up in the hospital. So the number might go up if we are to really do a detailed statistics, because we have in Ghana, people will go to the hospital at the later stage.
Are people still going to prayer camps?
A lot.
In 2024?
A lot of people. We still get that a lot. People will go to all sort of places before they end up in the hospital. And with cancer, not just breast cancer, with any cancer at all, the early detection helps. So when we pick it up early, that is when we can make good intervention and to prevent death. From the statistics, we could see that the death from breast cancer is reducing. It's reducing, but then it's because of the advocacy. It's because of, you know how big Pink October is. Like, we've been making noise about it and all that. At first, the stigma alone will prevent people from going to the hospital. But now we have people who have survived, we have people who tell their stories and all that. So it's a big motivation for any lady out there, anyone who might be battling with breast cancer issues and all that. There's an intervention, but when we notice it early, it helps. Most people, when they are told that they have breast cancer, the first issue is doubt. Most people doubt it, so they wouldn't even follow up with a doctor's appointment. They wouldn't be going to the hospital to check out the stage that it's in and all that. Once they are told, they use all sort of remedies and all those things, and by the time they come to the hospital, it might be worse. Herbal medicines are good, but then if it's not sourced from the right places, sometimes it could cause harm. So most people, when they are diagnosed, they resort to just boiling some herbal medicine, going to some practitioners who are not licensed and all that, and it might not be the best. So when we are diagnosed, we should seek medical intervention and it will really do
medical intervention. Is there a point where you don't have to go through chemotherapy? Is there any form of the cancer in the stages, or immediately you are diagnosed, you have to start the treatment, which is key?
Yes, so immediately you are diagnosed, we have to start treatment that will prevent it from spreading. The chemotherapy, we have people who don't really go through it for a very long time. So the longer you are exposed to it, the more the side effects and all those things. I'm sure people are afraid of the side effects. That's why they mostly don't go through it. But when it's diagnosed early, it means that the cancer cells are not that much. So little chemotherapy will help to get rid of it. Sometimes you may have to undergo surgery and also the chemotherapy. Sometimes just the surgery alone could be able to detect it. There are types. When it comes to the cancer, there are types. So depending on the location, we have what we call the invasive one, or the ductal carcinoma. You know, for the breast anatomy, we have the breast anatomy, we have the ducts. The ducts are like the tubes in which the breast milk passes. So if you take a cross-section of the breast, like as we have on our screen, if you take a cross-section of it, you see that there are some small round things in there. And there are some tubes that leads to the nipple. So those tubes are the ducts. So the breast milk, when they are produced, it passes through those tubes and it comes out through the nipple. Those tubes are the lobula. Those round things are the lobula. That is where the breast milks are produced. So when the breast milks are produced, it passes through those ducts, then it comes out through the nipple. So you can have a cancer which is just within those tubes. The lobular, the ductal carcinoma within that tubes. And we have the lobular one. Those ones are the cancer that are actually within the lobes of the breast itself. So the types will determine the kind of treatment that is given and all that. And there is one thing called the Paget's disease of the breast. You know, there are some people that mostly they will see some rashes around the areola. The areola is the black area around the ears, around the nipple and all those things. There are some sort of some rashes which doesn't really go. So that is mostly
abnormal rashes.
Yes, abnormal rashes. You apply all sort of treatment, you do everything that you can, but it seems not to go. That is it's also a form of cancer. That one starts from the nipple, and it can become sore, and it increases to the whole breast. So depending on the type of breast cancer that you have, there is a treatment available, but early detection always helps with that.
Look at that. And many people may not have known that, you know, the rashes around the areola, you said, and just think that it has to be a boil or a bump under the armpit or around the breast. Very vital information. But Dr. Say, I'll come back to you because we have to go to the phone and speak to a survivor of breast cancer. She's the founder of MOD, Local Breast Cancer Foundation, and also, as I said, a breast cancer patient or survivor. Miss Chocho, Susan Chocho Malik. Good morning, madam. Welcome to GTV Breakfast. October must be a very reflective time for you. with what you've gone through and, you know, how you're trying to stay strong. Can you tell us how the journey started?
Well, good morning to your viewers, and thanks for having me on board. So my journey started way back, I want to believe, in 2017. And interestingly, mine didn't start with a lump. It started with a chest pain, where I was having this severe pain in my chest. It was on and off, on and off, on and off, until 2 years on, that is 2019. Around this time, I had no information on breast cancer to know exactly the signs and all those things were. But the honest truth is, my breast never had changes. It was normal. But then in 2019, I felt a lump in the breast, but it was a painful lump. And I had to go to the hospital. I went there, I was diagnosed. In fact, the first visitation, they were like, oh, because it's a painful lump, it wasn't even touched at all. They only gave me some medications to just go and suppress the pain and hopefully get the lump dissolved. But then I exhausted the medication. It was still the same. At this point, blood comes out of the nipple and all, and I still had no clue of the signs of breast cancer, so I couldn't even relate it to it. But then I decided to read about breast diseases, not breast cancer in particular. So breast cancer popped up from Google, and I'm like, hey, so blood coming is a signal, kind of. Then I went back. I was given the same medication again. I said, no, I will need a third opinion. So I called a doctor friend. She asked, I come. That day, I had my palpation done through my armpits and my collarbone and my breast as the whole. It was that painful. At the time, my heart was just pulling out. So I was given a prescription to get a core biopsy done. I was given a core biopsy test to run, where you put a needle in the breast to take some tissues out to the pathologist for further investigation. So it was at that point that when I went for my test, I had to read everything, break down all the jargons in there to know what exactly is wrong with me. And I got to know I was at stage 3 already. So I knew my state before I went to the hospital again to report with the whole bunch of labs and scans. At this point, I was just being strong because I wasn't ready to lose it. I was just not ready to lose it. So I went there. The guy said, oh, he was a young doctor. He said, I think you have breast cancer. I said, oh, don't worry. We'll fight it. And he was amazed, like, no. I said, what do you expect me to say? I thought you. I said, no, it's not me. I'm going with all energy. I'm going to overcome this thing. I will survive. So, yes, it was successful. So I was transferred to Kolebu. That's where the whole journey really began. When I had my biopsy, I thought that was the pain, but it had nothing to do with the pain I went through later. So when I went to Kolebu, obviously my plan was, the treatment plan I had was a mastectomy, chemotherapy, and then radiotherapy. So mastectomy is just to take off the breast. So they had the breast out. After the breast session, which I was excited, I geared myself towards chemotherapy. I went for chemo, and then chemo started giving me the lesson of my life. It was a terror moment. Along the line, I had prescription and administration of medication.
Wow.
And they complicated my story more. From that end, I had my sugars shooting to 18 and 20. And so I was being managed with my sugars. I was being managed with my chemotherapy, side effects and all. In the long story short, I got into bed wearing diapers and all those drama. I had a lot of bad side effects, which I'm happy so far we haven't seen other people going through that, what I went through. But thanks be to God, I went through radiation, 25 sessions, and I have recovered. But I vowed to help other women to come out of this. They should know if I could get to stage 3 and survive, then 1, 0, 1, and 2, even 3, even 4 that hasn't gotten to a med stage, you can make it. So yes, I founded the foundation during my chemotherapy treatment because a lot was happening. And thank God, when Loco is 5 years, I have survived for 5 years and we are still counting. And I'm happy we have saved a lot of lives.
So much for sharing your story with us. Madam Chochu, Suzanne Chochu Malik, is a breast cancer survivor. Diagnosed around 2019. She's 40, she's battled it, she's alive. She's the founder of Mod Local Breast Cancer Foundation. Doctors say, you know, what stood out for me was the fact that she said, first, the fear was them taking off her breast. She didn't want to have to lose one of her breasts. But then after they took off the breast and she was excited and relieved, then the horror of the chemotherapy had to come in.
So that's, I think she had a positive mindset. She said when she went to the doctor, she was like, we will fight it. So that's a positive mindset. That's how to battle any form of cancer. If you are down, mostly your immune system and everything goes down. Right. So your body's defense mechanism and all those things is affected, and anything that you are going through could be affected. So you having a positive mindset is always the key. That's why we advocate that people shouldn't really be scared of all these things. You need to embrace it. It's part of life. And when you get that mindset, then it means that whatever medication, whatever therapy you are put on, your body will be able to withstand it, and you'll be able to fight it.
Is it getting better now with her, for example, as champions, telling people their story, letting people know that, look, there's treatment?
Yes, it helps people to know that people have been through it and they've survived and all those things. At first, we didn't have much survivors, so it was like a death sentence. So that was why people were afraid and all those things. But now that we have people going through it and all that, it gives people the assurance that once you are diagnosed, that's not the end of life. You can still live a better life.
For women who are freshly married, it would be quite unfortunate to hear a fresh bride, having been diagnosed with that. She's looking forward to having children. If one breast is taking off due to cancer, is the other breast able to produce milk for a child?
Definitely.
Are they even able to have children?
Definitely. One of the side effects of this therapy could be infertility. I'm using could be because it's not always the case. There are some people who go through it and they are still able to give birth and all those things. But there are so many side effects depending on the person. So everybody and how they elicit their side effects and all those things. So, but the most important thing is you surviving. Because if you are not there, childbirth and all those things wouldn't even come to play. So the most important thing is you surviving. There are so many ways for fertility issues. There are so many ways to even deal with it now. So you have to have a positive mindset to survive first, then we can think of all these things. And she mentioned that hers wasn't a lump. Mostly we are looking forward to see a lump.
Chest pain.
Yes, we are mostly looking forward to see a lump. But most people could have cancer and they don't even know about it. Like it could be with you for a very long time before it starts manifesting.
Wow.
So that is why we need to start treatment early when we notice it. Because by the time we notice it, it means that it has already started.
Advanced.
Yes, it has already advanced. Because it starts with just one cell. Just one cell misbehaving, and it affects other cells. And cells, we know we can't even see them, so they are very minute. So if it starts forming these tumors, lumps within your breast, then it means that it has affected a couple of cells, and the likelihood of it spreading is quite high. So you need to look at all those things. Yeah.
How about the cost of the treatment? Is it expensive, and are there organizations that help women?
It's quite expensive, yes. Even in the Western world, most of the cancer therapies are not insured. So it's quite difficult in our part of the world. But the organizations, the NGOs and all those things, that helps with that, yeah. So with the treatment is quite a lot, but then the organizations that helps with that. And that's why Medmosis too is giving a 50% discount in October for breast mammograms. So people who wants to do a screening, who wants to check their breast, not really who wants to, you have to.
All women should come. But Medmosis will be flattered, you know.
Yes, you have to check it this month of October. At least once a year, when you get a check done, is better. So it's 50% discount for any woman who comes to Medmosis to have a mammogram done. So all these things are what we are doing and other organizations are doing to help beat down the cost of breast cancer treatment and diagnosis and all those things.
That's good to know. And are you doing the diagnosis or the checks all year round? So aside from October?
Yes, we have the mammogram machine, so we do it all year round. But then in October is 50% the price. Yeah, so that's why we advocate that around this time, at least if you've not done it, you have to do it so that you know your stage and all those things. Yeah.
Before we leave, what's the youngest age of a patient you have seen?
Personally, I've seen someone 35. Yes, 35 with breast cancer.
Right.
Initially, from the woman you spoke to, you know, mostly when you go to the hospital and you don't really fall within the risk age and all those things, we don't want to conclude that it's breast cancer. So there are a series of tests that are done before we are able to really come out, because you telling someone that the person have cancer is quite serious. So you need to be very sure that you have all your checks right before you can do that. So mostly we do what we call the breast scan and all those things. And even when we find a lump, it's mostly a fibroadenoma. So it's only the biopsy that can actually confirm that a person has a cancer. But because of the pain of the biopsy and all those things, the cost and all those things, you prescribe it for people and they don't even come back to the hospital with the results. They don't actually do it. Yeah, so most people come to the hospital, but I've seen a 35-year-old woman with a breast cancer. But
that must be devastating.
I think she's still in treatment. Yeah, I referred the patient and she's still in treatment.
And genetics play a role as well?
Very much, very much. So it being in your family means that you are likely. And even with the family issue now, I don't really depend much on it, because it might be at your father's side and you might not know. If it's in your mother's side, then you'll be able to dictate. Maybe your mother might have it.
Your family probably had it, but
so for the family issue, everyone actually is at risk. You being a woman, you are at risk. Alcohol and smoking also plays a major role. It also increases your risk. And hormone replacement therapy, you know, there are people with hormonal issues and all those things. There are certain medications that keeps the hormone in check. Last week we studied about some other breast conditions, and we know that some of them are hormone related. So sometimes these hormone-related conditions and all those things could affect you to have a breast issue. And having a previous breast disease, something like a mastitis, an infection of the breast, something like a fibroadenoma, they all predispose you to having breast cancer and all those things. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Say. We have to, take leave of here, but we'll definitely have more conversations. It's the entire month, and so I wanted us to go into the men as well in genes, but I'm sure we'll have you back on the show to speak on that. So alcohol and smoking, if you're a heavy, user of this, you'd want to be careful. Hormone-related issues as well, genetics, you'd want to go and get checked because you may be at risk. 50% discount for mammograms is what Medimosis is offering. So walk into any of their centers and get yourself checked. We spoke to a survivor of breast cancer as well, Susan Chocho Malik. She's the founder of Local Breast Cancer Foundation, and Dr. Prince Osei, who's a favorite on the show, Media Public Relations Officer of BFS Clinic. You can watch this conversation again so that you get in-depth understanding on GTV Ghana. We streamed live there. I am Altiti Saida Sadik. We're back with more conversations on The Breakfast Show.
Galamsey now. Good morning. Welcome to the show. This is GTV Breakfast, and it's now time for public interest. So this has to do with education, transportation, and a lot of risk, and a whole lot of water. Check this out. My colleague who's here, Valencia, Tete, decided to do something about education in the Adan area, on the islands, and the risks that people take. Valencia, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here. Okay, so we'll let the video tell the story. We'll come back and have a chat about this.
Sure, that's fine.
All right, take a look.
Why are you not in your uniform?
Because if I'm wearing it and paddling the boat, when the sweat gets inside, it will not be good.
Sometimes we get here maybe in the middle of nowhere and you see them driving in a very reckless manner and you can't ask them to stop.
Our main motivation is the students. We want to help them because if we said we will not come, who will be willing to come?
In the serenity of the Adan Islands in Ghana lies a struggle to access education. Students and some teachers commute daily from the mainland, Adanfo, to schools on the islands of Azizakwe, Alokpem, Aflive, Pediatokope, and Tuanikope, where each journey is a delicate balance between determination and danger. Each day, as the first light breaks over the horizon, the hustle and bustle begin in Adan. The students gather at the banks of this portion of the Volta River for this routine journey they have grown accustomed to. They eagerly wait for the boats that will ferry them across the water to the islands where their schools are situated. While some are not shaken at all by this daily adventure, others dread it. Umar Kwashi is a final-year junior high school student who commutes to school in a rowboat from Azizakwe to other islands such as Pediatokope.
So this is your own boat?
Yes. So sometimes it is risky when I don't wear the life jacket. Crossing the river is dangerous because me and my little sister, last my friends, crossing the river going to school. It is extremely hard.
Why are you not in your uniform?
Because if I'm paddling the boat, I'll get sweat, and my uniform too, if I'm wearing it and paddling the boat, when the sweat gets inside, it will not be good. So I have to remove it, and then if I reach there, I'll clean myself before I wear it again. So me being the final year student, completing the school, It has been hard for me to learn because after school I have to come to the house and do some house chores. In the evening too, tired, and I cannot even have time to learn.
Some teachers who cross the Volta River from Adanfor to Alokpem DA Basic School recount some anxious moments.
Crossing the river from the mainland to the island is not easy because sometimes you'll be on the river during rainy season and you encounter storm. So when it's raining, we advise ourselves not to come. And when we are on the island like this and it's rain too, we don't cross. Sometimes we'll be on the middle of the river and our motto is to just stop. Yes, and it's very scary.
Looking at the period we are in now, which is a rainy season, when the weather becomes dark a little, the other colleagues teachers start calling me to find out if we are going or not. So we have to look at the weather. If it's early in the morning, then we have to wait for a while for the weather to become, because the river is always rough when it is windy. Sometimes we have faced several challenges. When we closed from school, we were going home and then it started raining on the river. We were beaten mercilessly by the rain. And even when we got to where the sea is closer to the river, the boat is not stable. So almost everyone on board are being afraid, because we are afraid, thinking that we are going to lose our lives. So sometimes you have to be careful when we are crossing the river because of the stormy weather. When teachers are posted here, they are afraid because of the nature of the river. Some stay for just 1 year and they are seeking for reposting. Because of that, we even lack teachers here. We don't have enough teachers in most of the classrooms. So this is a big challenge that we face. If we should even have a bungalow in the school, some of the teachers are willing to sacrifice to stay behind and then stay in the bungalow. Probably during the weekend, they will go back home. But because we don't have the bungalow, it's even affecting academic work. Those in Form 3 now, we want to help them. Maybe after school, we want to stay behind and teach them, but we have both issues. If we should stay behind, then it means we have to cross by using a canoe, which is even more dangerous than the harbor motor.
Madame Rosalind Soga, who takes this route to school every day, laments the recklessness of some boat operators.
You know, crossing it once in a while is okay, but when it becomes something you do daily, it becomes a risk.
Has there been a situation where you get up in the morning and you be like, oh God, am I going to do this again?
Oh yes, especially when it's cloudy or when it rains. You don't want to cross because sometimes the rain comes with wind. And one thing about these commercial boats also is sometimes it overloads. I've got videos. It overloads. Sometimes the way they drive it, you see, I don't know who is responsible for checking, because I know with driving, you need to get a driver's license. But with the boats, if you get to the riverside, whoever that has a boat, you will have to join, and you don't know whether they are experienced or not. So sometimes we get here maybe in the middle of nowhere and you see them driving in a very reckless manner, and you can't ask them to stop. And every day we have to be shouting, you know, health-wise, it's not good for us because we get really scared.
Some women in the community who also shared their experiences said the dangers associated with their movement on the water include the unpredictable weather.
Our church members are there, and we have a branch there. So we have been paying, visiting or going to church, fellowship with them, with us women fellowship and programs.
If we are going, some of our members, they don't want to go because they fear the river, so they don't want to go. If there's bridge here, it will be easy to cross. So we need bridge.
Because sometimes you come and the boat is not full. You just stay here and sit for a long time.
In 2023, the Adan East Office of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, reported a tragic boat accident that claimed the lives of 4 individuals out of the 100 people on board.
When those accidents begin to occur, then the issue of life jackets came into being. In fact, questions came up, were the people in life jackets, and if they were in the life jackets, how come do they had accident in the river and they drowned and died? Life jacket here is very costly, and looking at the economic situations of this area, people barely afford life jackets for their boats. And then we realized the local boat operators who operate on the river, they take passengers and then they take money, can also afford life jackets because it's very, very costly. And so it became a challenge for the district and the traditional area. And so we are taking steps in collaboration with the chief fishermen for various land beaches and then the local boat operators over here. We are meeting them and then we are putting our heads together to make sure that the issue of life jacket here in the district becomes something of the past.
Some head teachers of the island schools told GBC News they don't have adequate number of teachers.
The school is situated on island of Adan East District. Being the island community, the teachers working in the school, most of them or almost all of them are living on the mainland. Being able to come to school by 7:45 is impossible because crossing, travel from Kase to the riverside at Adanfo, sit in the boat to arrive here at 7:30 is impossible. So they always come to school late, which there's nothing we can do about it. And this lateness is affecting the kids academically because almost the first period is gone before they arrive in the school. I am the only teacher living on the island here. So early morning like this, I have to come to the school, monitor the children's activities in the school before other teachers come to join. So because we are lacking this first period small, it's affecting the kids. So we'll be grateful if there will be any NGO, government agents or any benevolent to come to our aid by building teachers' accommodation for us on the island, which can house about 6 or 10 teachers, and it will boost our performance as well.
Some of the teachers say they are giving off their best despite logistical challenges.
Due to the distance that the children walk to school every day, they walk 2 hours and they come to school very late, and we are not able to complete the task given to us in the course of the day. First, when I came, I never understood why these kids come to school late. So give them a corrective measures by either allowing them to work at the lavatory or they do sweeping just to keep the compound clean. But I once followed one child. We walk 2 hours, 30 minutes. Since then, I had a different change of mind about these kids that walk 2 hours to school every day. They sleep in class. Even this morning, I was teaching maths. They were all sleeping. Well, but what you do, you have to use action somebody. They are tired. They help their parents in doing their clams deep into the night. So they are exhausted.
Our main motivation is the students. We want to help them to become better person in future. Yes, they are our main motivation. Because if we said we will not come, who will be willing to come?
Me being the teacher here also serve as a role model for our students. I was once a student like them on the same island where still there is no light, meaning they can also make it to be a doctor or a teacher as I am. It doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter where you are coming from or whom you are. If you set a goal to make it, you can make it. So far as I also set a goal and make it to be a teacher at Alokpe.
This area is among riverine communities in Ghana that suffer both disasters. Life is difficult in such areas. acquiring education in places like this requires iron determination and sacrifice. They deserve attention from government and development partners.
Okay, so that was Adan East, Valencia. You went there. What was it like putting this story together?
So it was Rotary Club went out there to donate some life jackets. But now when I reached there, I realized that I could do something more extraordinary if I should stay over and see how these children convey from the mainland to the island through using the boat. So the following morning, I woke up very early because I learned some of the students wake up very early to be able to cross the river, because from the mainland to Pediatokope, that's one of the islands, it takes about 25 minutes to get to school. And sometimes if you get to the boat and the boat is not also ready, you have to wait for other people who want to join the boat. They'll be late. So if you want to go to school very early, you have to come to the riverside very early to be able to join the boats. But on the other side, so I went to Adanfo, where there's also another island. So some teachers on the Adanfo, that's the mainland, also travel from the Adanfo to Alopem. That's one of the schools on the island. And it took us about 25 minutes from the mainland to Alopem. And fortunately enough, the teachers were going for a teacher's deba at Pediatokope. That's one island in the area. And it also took us about 30 minutes from Alopem to Aflive.
And you were on the water?
We were on the water.
Please tell me you were wearing a life jacket. Please. Please. Were you?
I was. Well, funny enough, my camera person was not in a life jacket, but
That was a very foolish risk he or she took.
He felt one lady was not in a life jacket, but when I asked the lady why she was not in a life jacket, she told me that she could swim even if.
Another foolish statement I heard this morning.
So when we were coming back, he didn't want to risk it, so he had to put on a life jacket.
How do you get on a water body without a life jacket?
So I wish I could even use 2 life jackets, seriously, because 25 minutes or about 30 minutes on the water is not an easy risk. Trust me, The lady who spoke, one of the teachers, she said she has been there for 4 years now. And when she went there, her first year, she wanted to leave. She couldn't. But as time went on, she felt that no, she has to do this. It's because the passion for the work and because of the children, that is why she would want to stay. And doing this every day, it's risky and very scary. And funny enough, when we got to Aflive, one of the island linking Pediatokope, we have to take another journey. But this one, it was on the land. We have to walk for about almost 2 hours. From Aflive to Pediatokope. I was tired.
So it's a water journey and it's a land journey too.
Yes. And one of the teachers was saying that some of the students have to walk for about 2 hours to get to school. And sometimes when he didn't understand, for his first time, when he didn't understand why the students come to school late, so sometimes he would give them some punishment. But one of the students got sick and he had to visit that child and he had to take that journey. Then he realized that no, he was really punishing the student, which was no fault of theirs. So this was my journey on the island. It was a nice experience, but then I feel these people here needs a lot of support, especially the teachers who travel all the way from the mainland to the island. They said they need teachers bungalow at least, because in fact most of the schools, all the schools,
don't they need life jackets first?
They need it. They need life jacket. They need life jacket, and the teachers are not enough. Funny enough, they said when the headmaster was saying that when the teachers are being posted to the area, they come 1, 2, they don't come again. So they lack teachers over there. If the one teacher can take about 4 courses, so they have 5 teachers taking the whole GHS and 5 teachers taking 5 courses. You can just imagine their performance. And some of the classes too do not have teachers, so the students have to go and sit in the classroom without any teacher. And at the end of the day, they will come back home thinking, their parents will be thinking that my child went to school to study. But unfortunately, the child goes to school and wouldn't study anything. Either go and play, eat, and sleep in the classroom.
So I think the immediate need is life jackets. But you think what else do they need?
So
bungalows for the teachers.
Bungalows for the teachers and harbor motor for the schools, so that if they are going to school, they wouldn't have to wait and join the public harbor motor. They have their personal harbor motor that will convey them from the mainland to the island to school.
Okay, thank you so much for that very risky assignment. And I'm glad you wore your life jacket.
Sure,
now, I've checked out the cost of life jackets. It doesn't cost much. It doesn't cost much. So it's a dereliction of duty for people to not provide these people with life jackets. So I'm going to call out a couple of people. So the district chief executive appointed by the president to run that place on his behalf is called Sarah Dubaki Pobi. Sarah Dubaki Pobi. I mentioned your name for a third time. Sarah Dubaki Pobi. You fail the people. You can't provide life jackets for the people. DCE Sarah Dubaki Pobi. Now, the MP is Comfort Doyo Kujo Gansa. MP for Adan East, Adan area, Comfort Doyo Kujo Gansa. You have a common fund. How much does it cost to buy life jackets to put? And the life jackets are not going to go home. They're going to stay in the boats. Whoever comes in wears a life jacket. It's like you enter your car, your seatbelt is there. You don't take it home with you. So, Comfort Doyo Kujo Gansa, you are failing the people of your constituency. You want their votes, but you are failing them on this situation. So, MP Comfort, we are calling you out. We are calling you out also, NADMO. Your job is not just to report about disasters. You're supposed to try and prevent them as well. Okay, so NADMO, Ebenezer Tay, Nate, you are in charge of Adan East, NADMO. You are failing. We are calling you out big time. We're speaking on behalf of the children of that area. Ghana Education Service, you are failing the students and the teachers. You're not providing facilities for them or conditions for them to do their work well. Gender, Children, and Social Protection, it's not just about school feeding. It's also about safety of the people, the children. The children are in your ministry, all right? So Gender, Children, and Social Protection, Ghana Education Service, Ministry of Education, MP Comfort Doyo Kujo Gansa Adan, please. You are failing the people. DCE Sarah Dubaki Pobi, you are failing the people. NADMO Ebenezer Tay Nate, you are failing the people. It's not about funerals when people die and they get drowned. If you type Adan East and go and Google it, you'll see people have died, crossing to go to school. So you are failures, but there's hope. You can change, okay? You are there as leaders. You're not there just to have the president's photo behind you in your office, DCE, or MP, honorable. You're supposed to do the work. NADMO, you don't just come and ask for blankets when there's a disaster. You're supposed to help these people so that they can get an education, all right? So I'm calling your names again. Ebenezer Tay Nati, NADMO Director, Adan East, you are failing the people. DCE, Sarah Dubaki Pobi, you are failing the people. MP, Comfort Doyo Kujo Gansa, you are failing the people. They need life jackets. It doesn't cost much, okay? Use the money, use your connections, use your contacts. People are building houses for their constituencies after disasters. You can do same. Use your connections. It's not just going to Parliament and sitting there and just shouting, yeah, yeah. Give them life jackets. I'll call your names again before I leave. Comfort Doyo Kujo Gansa, MP, Adan, you are failing the people. DCE, Sarah Dubaki Pobi, DCE for Adan, you are failing the people. NADMO, Ebenezer, Tay, Nate, you fail the people, but there's hope. You can change the situation. That's the end of public interest. I bought for this place brutal. I know it's small. It's annoying and it's tragic. And we're just waiting for the next disaster, and then we'll come and start shedding crocodile tears. Enough is enough. Thank you very much.
Maybe if some people want to support.
They should support? How do they support? They should buy life jackets. Where do we channel it to?
So there's a number out here that you can call in if they want to support. That's 0278007611, 0278007611. If you want to support, you can call out this number. So
thank you for the number, but we are letting them off the hook. Put pressure on those people. Sure. Comfort Doyo Kujo Gansa, MP, DCE Sarah Dubaki Pobi, and NADMO Director Ebenezer Tay Nate. We need to put fire on you guys so you do the right thing. Thank you very much. Good morning. Sports is next.
All right, so welcome to the update on GTV Sports Plus and GTV. My name is Gloria Pepper, and we're starting off with the Black Stars. And the Black Stars kicked off their training on Monday afternoon with 11 players at the Accra Sports Stadium as preparation began for the upcoming doubleheader against Sudan in the 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers. The senior national team started camp earlier that morning with key players like Jordan Ayew, Mohamed Kudus, Joseph Wallacott, Elisha Owusu, and Mohamed Salis, among others present. Those other players who trained include Frederick Asari, Isaac Afol, Antoine Samayo, Abdul Fattah, Lisaaku, Gideon Renta, and Brendan Asante Thomas. The remaining squad are expected to join them by Monday night, which will be last night ahead of the second training section scheduled for Tuesday. That's today. All right, and the Confederation of African Football, CAF, in a letter on October 2024, asked James Kwesi Appiah to resign from one of his significant roles at the Ghana Football Association and Sudan. Kwesi Appiah has been holding the role of the Ghana Affairs Association Executive Council, that's an ESCO member, after being voted into the position in 2023. He qualified for the role due to his position as a member of Asante Kotoko's Interim Management Committee. He landed the role while serving as Sudanese head coach. And so, yes, Kwesi has a decision to make. All right, and still on international duty, and Thomas Tepate Pencil and two others pulled out of the African Cup of Nations qualifier due to injury. Thomas Partey, Joseph Pencil, Kingsley Slenden, and Osman Ibrahim have been ruled out of the 2025 of Coach Otuado's 25-month squad for the doubleheader. And so below is an update on the four players. Thomas Tepate is unable to join the Black Stars due to medical issues he's currently experiencing, and his club has scheduled him for further tests in the upcoming days. On Joseph Pentel's part, he experienced have scheduled him for an MRI on Monday, 7th October. That was yesterday. He is therefore unable to join the Black Stars. Now to Osman Ibrahim, experienced pain in his calf muscles during their last game and was substituted in the 65th minute. His club has since communicated his unavailability to the Ghana Football Association. Now to Kingsley now. The player is unable to join the Black Stars due to a medical emergency. He is currently receiving treatment for the Black Stars. Are set to face Sudan on Thursday, 10th October and Tuesday, 15th October 2025 in two very important African Cup of Nations qualifiers. All right, and still on the Black Stars, and the Ghana Football Association has announced that Michael Beidou, Abu Francis, and Jonas Atete and Ibrahim Sadiq have been called up for the crucial Nations Cup qualifier. The four players come in to replace Pate to Accra and will join the squad for the Group F qualifier, the African Cup of Nations qualifier. So the Black Stars are set again to face Sudan, and you know that on Thursday it will be fireworks at the Accra Sports Stadium with all eyes glued onto GTV Sports Plus, GTV, Obonu TV, and Garden City TV, and all our sister radio stations across the nation, and all our social media handles. We will be bringing you up to speed. So as you watch the space, make sure that you do not forget that Black Stars are playing on Thursday. Former world champion Kipian Belt dies at age 26. And so now to the sad news which has happened in Kemps in London. Has passed away at the age of 26 due to a renal and hepatic failure. There's more in coming up. May his soul rest in absolute perfect peace. Asante Kotoko served up some incredible matches on Sunday afternoon, my apologies, with a number of goals flying across the venues. And so let's have a look at the graphics. But that's it. Sadly, we do not have time for it. We're wrapping it up here for GTV viewers. But here on GTV Sports Plus, there's more news here on Studio 5. My name is Gloria Pepra. Do keep well. Bye for now.
We had him on the show at Virtual Sound Lab in Asylum Down. First Friday of every month. That's how we do it. IC, can I live? Yes, we can live. By the grace of the Almighty himself. We can live.
Inshallah, yeah.
Yes, inshallah himself. Good morning. Once again.
Yes.
Our headlines. 8th day of Pinktober.
Yes. Daily Graphic has the big one being Galamsey crackdown. Government rolls out radical measures. President orders military deployment. LI 2462 to be revoked. Water bodies, forest reserves, red zone.
Okay, that's your Daily Graphic. Big one there.
Yes, very big.
All right, the Daily Dispatch, Global Info Analytic Opinion Polls. I am NDC, but I disagree. Baumia will get 37%. No losing presidential candidate has had less than 43%, says an NDC guru. All right. Okay. All right. That's a big one there.
Daily Guide has the big one being Galamsey protesters, 21 granted bail. Voma war denied.
Okay. Next one. The Chronicle, Ailing Tor, which is Tema Oil Refinery, employs more managers despite not refining crude since 2018. And yeah, I can't even read the proverb, so let it roll. I'm sure when you get your copy, you will know what it is about. Okay. Good.
The Ghanaian Observer.
Analyst, big one, Deloitte Oil and Gas Survey, investments decision to be affected by emissions levy, and I guess declining T-bill yields to persist. Government will raise 4.57 billion cedis by Friday. Okay.
The emission levy is an interesting one. Climate issues there. For the Daily Searchlight, Mohammed's eligibility, Supreme Court must decide before elections. Crunchy.
Okay. All righty. And the Daily Statesman, more companies returning to Ghana. Finance Minister attributes it to economic turn around. Okay. Daily Post.
Daily Post says how Napo wanted school kids to be taught gay and lesbian acts exposed.
That's your Daily Post this morning. And when you come back, you are talking with a presidential candidate. Goom.
And we want to see what his vision is. He says that current Ghanaian leaders are very selfish, so we need to break away from our self-interest in order to turn around Ghana.
Okay.
So for Chure Abosom.
Okay, all righty.
Yes, God.
Indeed. Yes. Happens with that one. So we'll see you later.
Good luck.
All righty. It's time for the headlines.
Yes.
Important for you to know your family genetic makeup history so that you can protect yourself from breast cancer. In the absence of knowledge, ignorance persists, and you don't want that to happen, okay? Ignorance can kill. We're going straight into our conversations right now. I do have with me Mr. John Kuku Jani. He's a forensic psychiatry specialist. And sitting next to him is another man who deals with matters of the mind. Professor Daniel Bruce, who's a clinical psychologist. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Day. Thank you very much for having me here.
It's good to have you here. I can see you're all wearing your breast cancer ribbons. Yes, keeping the awareness up there. Tell me, what has struck your mind this morning? What are you interested in?
Well,
jumping into
the issue about Galamsey continues unabated.
Indeed.
And it seems to me that we have waited just before elections, 2 months before elections. Galamsey matters still persists as a huge conversation in the system. What has gone wrong? What has gone wrong? It's very sad, because by this time, the policies of the parties is what we should be hearing, how they're going to implement it, so that we can make informed choices. Meanwhile, Galamsey, for the health risks that he has taken over. The advisors of the presidents have been woeful, absolutely woeful, for months and months and months. When this incident started, they should have perceived what would have happened by now and would have advised the president, Mr. President, it's not going very well. I think we need to change course.
He's got 90 days more.
But we have 60 days
to the election.
But
he has 90 days to end his term. What do you think can happen?
Well, he should have said, look, let's stop this nonsense. Give it time and reevaluate ourselves in the next few months. At least stop it. Everybody says stop it, and you wouldn't stop it. The reasons that are given for not stopping it are mostly ridiculous reasons. They don't work. Now, the unions, and I have to congratulate the unions. I was a union member before in the UK with the health services. If you don't stand for your workers, then we are doomed. The politician will take us for a ride. And I'm so glad that they stood up. That is what I have to say about what we call. Now, the guys that have been imprisoned and jailed and all that, I mean, what is all this nonsense? It doesn't augur well at all for a country like Ghana for now. And it's all to do with advisors around the president. Who are the people who advise him? At any given time, the president around him, his kitchen cabinet will tell Mr. President, we think this is not the way forward. And have a way to tell him so that when you talk, he doesn't listen to you anymore. But you must find a way to talk to him. There are ways of talking to the president. There are sandwich talks. You praise the man, you tell him the problem, and you praise him again. He'll just about say, well, I think what you said could be right. Maybe we should try it. But when you tell the president, Mr. President, I think this is, he said, well, what the hell do you think? What the hell are you talking about?
Who are you?
I'm the president, and I say this must go. And the president has that propensity anyway. You know, he likes flying in airplanes, in the private jets, and having his own chair around him and all that. That's the character of our president. So his president should be able to tell him how things are running on the ground. Now you have this canker and this election. This incident will break the NPP party down. It has already wrecked the country to break the party. After they've left power, you will find that the party will be in a disarray. And people will sit now justly to say what is happening. Look at TikTok, look at Facebook, look at the media, see what is happening. It is not going very well for the NPP, not at all. Not at all. Everybody is in. Have you seen reactions in Ghana like this before? It's unbelievable. People, you get telephone calls from US and say, what the hell is going on? You just can't say, stop it, and let's wait for. So if you lose the election out of this, what is wrong with it? If you lose the election, what is wrong? There's nothing wrong in losing an election. You only have to go back, reevaluate yourself, reinvent yourself, and come back again. So that we, the people, the stress, the anxiety, hypertension, and the problems that we are going through because of indecision and bad policies, it's unbelievable. You wake up in bed, and every day is a news story of a calamitous incident that is happening. Either it's money that has been stolen from somewhere, or some bizarre incident. Maybe Sunday, I'll leave this here for now. We'll talk about something else.
Okay, let me just read what has happened or what the government has decided to do. I'm reading from the graphic. The government has agreed to revoke the Environmental Protection Regulation 2023, which is LI 2462, Mining in Forest Reserves regulations, as part of a new move in the fight to revoke the LI should be taken when Parliament reconvenes this October. This is following public calls for government to take a decisive move against illegal mining and the notice by organized labor to embark on a nationwide. The president has also directed the enforcement measures to be ramped up. Okay, so let's hear them. This means all those currently mining in. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, says the military is being deployed to go and demobilize all machinery of illegal miners. Demobilization of the equipment means the military are to destroy all such machines being used for illegal mining. This means water bodies and forest reserves remain red zones for mining, and all forms of mining in water bodies, as well as reconnaissance, prospecting, exploration, and or small-scale mining in forest reserves remain banned. The law enforcement agencies of the state are fully mandated to rid our water bodies and forest reserves of all forms of mining. Abubakar communicating the president's directive. So this is what is happening. So government is taking steps to revoke the environmental protection regulations, LI 2462. They're going to ban illegal mining in water bodies and forest reserves. Water bodies and forest reserves remain red zones. No reconnaissance, no prospecting, no exploration, no small-scale mining. The Attorney General will collaborate with the Chief Justice to ensure swift adjudication of illegal mining cases. Government supports a call for all presidential candidates to sign a pact committing to the fight against illegal mining. And so, in light of this, the government says, and they say they are committed to the fight against illegal small-scale mining, calling on all stakeholders to join the fight. How does this sit with you, Professor Bruce?
Well,
too little, too late, or about time?
I mean, it is actually too late. We shouldn't have come this far. We've been exhibiting this bottle for how many years?
2 years now.
No action. It means your effort as an individual is not recognized. It shouldn't take men and women to go to the street, be in the street for 3 good days, crown into a vigil, for organized labor to threaten that they are going on demonstration for our natural resources to be prevented from being destroyed. Well, it is, well, we will accept it, provided it is not going to be rhetoric. If it is going to be implemented, all good and nice. So we congratulate everybody who has been pricked by the various calls, the various demonstrations and all that. And if you have not realized that the soldiers must move in, you remember, we have been discussing, I said, those people, until we handle them with iron hands, they will continue to destroy our river bodies and forest reserves. So I thank everybody for once more trying to prevent God's creation from being destroyed by people who cannot think into future that today's action will have serious consequences for tomorrow's generation. So if they are taking all those steps to make sure that our environment is safe, our water bodies are safe, aquatic life is restored back, all fine. We applaud everybody. So let's see how it will turn out to be. So we are watching.
Are you surprised that organized labor still wants to go ahead with the demonstration in spite of? Because the Information Ministry seems to be wrong-footed by this action. They are surprised that organized labor still insists on taking this action.
It's the result of mistrust. You can say, oh, I will do it, I will do it, don't go. Then later on, I realized that you just maybe pampered me into keeping quiet, and we are continuing. So if there's a trust that we back our words with actions, I don't think they will persist in going on. The driver said they are going to join them. The driver union, GPRTU. They said they will join the organized labor. So on 10th, maybe, I don't know, if you have your own car, you have to come. But those who may depend on public transport, they have to find their own. Either they will fly, turn themselves to Wikis and fly and come to work, go to wherever they are working. So we plead that if only there could be a true action and backing of the words with action, I think they will move. Fine. You know, I have been saying that there is no trust on this earth anymore. That is why all these things are happening. So we shouldn't have come this far. We shouldn't have come this far. I mean, it should not take people to go to the street for 3 days, and others went and they were sent to custody, prison remands. No. I mean, it doesn't mean somebody was just intentional that whether what you say will keep on allowing people to destroy. Now, if you go to Shaman, the fishermen there are no more fishing because the sea, the color of the sea has changed, and the fish, they have run away far. Even that place is not for them, and so they are dying. So please, well, let's see that they'll keep to their words. Let's stick with the Minister of Environment and all that. I mean, they must do the needful.
We're reaching out to organized labor to find out why they are still persisting in their action. So when we get there,
propose the withdrawal of the military presence from GBC. When I went into introspection, and I realized that the value of a nation is counted in the assets she possessed. And those assets, they attracted heavy capital investment. Some we borrow, some we tax Ghanaians to acquire them. So to prevent the heavy capital we invested in those things by bringing them into being, that might be our interest to go and protect them. And the military, they have won a reputation for themselves such that wherever they are, people believe that there's going to be some kind of order, discipline, and a warning to people who might be thinking of doing something evil. So that reputation and integrity, the military personnel, they have it. So even if a single military personnel is standing somewhere, I mean, people begin to behave in a way. So I just want to plead to the powers that be that let's take a look at these national assets. Mere mentioning that, oh, the military presence is no more going to be there, sends a signal somewhere. Look at the Akosobo Dam. Anybody can just walk and do something unreasonable, and we are all in trouble. Look at the Adomi Bridge. Assuming the military presence is not there, people can just go and start removing the rails. You know what will happen? Before you realize, the military should be withdrawn from there. What will happen? What will be going through the minds of people? Look at GBC, as we are saying. Koduka International Airport. These are huge capital investment assets that we have. Look at the Pond Dam or the Akosai Dam. Build Dam. The military presence is in all these areas. For the protection of the heavy capital investment we made in all these things. So let's be careful the way we try to inform ourselves on the nation that, no, we are going to withdraw the military presence for GBC. No, it says heavy signal. Look at all the assets we have now. If somebody just come here and start doing something unreasonable, look at these cameras. Look at the amount of money invested in these cameras. Look at your mast. If it comes down now, that's the if president wants to speak to the nation, they use GBC. State of the Nation address, GBC. They don't use private stations. Reading a budget with Ghana, we use GBC. Because people know that GBC is credible and they are broadcasting live the speech coming from the president of Ghana. Budget reading coming from the Minister of Finance. And even some parliamentary procedures in interview people for appointment as ministers or appointment to the judicial various courts, you see. So please, I want to plead that if we don't have military presence in any of these assets, we should and intensify them. We cannot kill terrorism, but terrorists will continue. So let's put in actions that will prevent those who are baptized into terrorism and are calling themselves terrorists that, look, we are ready for you, than to say, oh, you is a field, they come and work. So please, we need the military presence. We revere them so much and we have confidence in them. So they should not withdraw them. I am pleading that they should not be withdrawn from GBC and from any of these national assets that I have mentioned.
You're watching GTV Breakfast, Kafui Day here with Professor Bruce and Mr. Kukujani, and we're looking at issues in the news. Galamsey has to be on top of the agenda with the new moves that the government has announced, and their seeming surprise at organized labor's reaction to the moves, insisting on going on their demonstration on Thursday. And in the news, Minerals Commission is in the news because their boss was in Parliament speaking to the Assurances Committee about issues to do with small-scale mining, Galamsey, and related issues. Take a listen to some of the things that went down in Parliament yesterday.
Ban small-scale mining. Chair, this is my understanding. It means that don't allow anybody to do it lawfully. I understand the situation and the backlash from Ghanaians. Oh, stop it all together and reset, or pause or whatever. Then the guy in Tinga, the guy in Dakupe who has sunk a borehole, who has spent money to sink a shaft, he says, hang on, I am not by the white water of Pra or Ankubra. Why do you want to, Chair, if you permit me, punish me because folks along the Pra Brim and Co are misbehaving. Why don't you go and deal with that problem and let me do my work lawfully? Those are the issues we are faced with. So I advise government, and I told my minister that it will not be proper for us to have a... So the moment you say we are banning small-scale mining, not Galamsey, because Galamsey is banned, it means they are asking 5,000 people in Takwa not to work, punishing them for something that is not their fault. So this is some of the conundrum that we face.
So that was Mr. Martin Ayisi, the CEO of the Minerals Commission, interested in what he had to say about the issues. MP Ablakwa is also trending. They've taken a leaf out of our book. So he's exhibited samples of water from 12 polluted rivers in Ghana, Ofin, Odan, Pra, Nene, Brim, Subin, and then they showed water too, which was clear, you know. That the actions, I mean, I'm happy that the banning of the excavators and things is coming back, because that will hit that will be a big punch to the pockets of those who are financing these things, and we want to see some action.
But the chief executive who just spoke, I thought I heard him say something a few days ago, which I thought was worrying, that the minister, he granted licenses to about 1,000 and something people, and if the minister doesn't tell him to stop, he is not going to stop it. You understand? Now, his comments that he's made, has he compared that to health factors as to what has happened to people and what continues to happen to people? The abnormalities that we're going to get. We didn't even talk about the psychological effect of the water on humans. There's enough evidence to suggest that long-term taking of water with lead and all this will create Alzheimer's disease, which is dementia. So let's assume for a moment that in the next 10 years, a lot of people are suffering from dementia. What are you going to say about it? He's earning a wage, so he cannot comment. He cannot make those. He cannot make comments like "stop it, stop it, stop it." He works there, and he's being paid, so he won't make any other comments than what his boss tells him to do. He is advising. They have all sorts of information coming to them, so he knows more than what he thinks he knows. So there are political decisions that they are taking. First, they said, "Oh, we'll lose the elections when we give it up." Who told you that? Are you in politics? You will know the ground is bad. You are going to the wilderness. So don't use the people as the escape route to mess us up. This is very, very dangerous. We don't. I think yesterday or so, I was watching Joy, and the whole program was made as to the effect of these water bodies in human beings. And
Interesting things came out of his meeting with the Assurances Committee. From his own lips, Mr. Ayisi said Galamsey is happening right behind a police station in Enyinam. Yes. And I actually seen that on my way to Kumasi. I saw that. Right. So that's a big failure. I mean, if it's happening behind the police and nobody's doing anything about it.
The whole managers of the economy have gone wayward. They don't know what they're doing. They just lost the script. And it comes from the top. The head, the leadership is what you hold. What are you doing? What the hell is going on? Why is everybody? Your statistics should tell you that, look, things are not going well, and you are bent on winning an election that you know you are going to lose. I hear Mr. Jonathan, what we call the former Nigerian president, came here yesterday. It's a peaceful election. It's all what we are fighting for. Now, if you don't do things in the right way, other things will happen. So please, follow the script. And panic, and anxiety, and hypertension. Our heart starts jumping every morning we wake up. And you ask ourselves, what the hell is going to happen tomorrow? No, please. Don't put it into this state of fear and panic. We are tired of it.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, you see, do this and people mask faces behind them. Just continue doing it. You see, it's mind-boggling. Does it mean that we have accepted that should be the color of our rivers? And so we don't care. Look, he's saying about Alzheimer's disease being acquired some time to come. It has started already. The psychological implication. Look, if I see that this river is not good for me to drink, but there's no alternative, what I have to do first is to deny my true identity as a human being and reduce myself to an inferiority level. Psychopathological symptoms in terms of their behavior. If you know that you will swim in this river and you come out, there is mass stress on you. Why will you go into again? But because you don't have any choice, you accept your new inferiority status and go and do it. You know very well that when I drink this water, possibility that I may acquire some diseases is high. But because you have no choice, you only tell yourself, or die, be die. It means you have reduced yourself to the id level. Your bath in it, don't swim in it. This river is polluted. Don't drink it. You kill that reality voice in you and say you keep quiet. And once you are thirsty, you allow your id impulses to override you. And therefore, before you realize that you have acquired this disease, you say, oh, I'm sorry. Were you not the very person? Something told you this is not good. So everybody is now in some kind of a disorganized psychological state, especially people around that area. They are no more in their right frame of mind.
Right.
They are no more in their right frame of mind at all. So why will you use polluted water to cook and eat?
It's a really interesting question that I want you to just hang on. Ghana, Dr. Kwabena Nyaku Otu, good morning. Welcome to GTV Breakfast.
Good morning. Thank you.
The government has rolled out a raft of measures, including burning of excavators, preparation to remove that LI 2462 that till date has allowed people to mine in the forest. And they, according to their statement, are very surprised that organized labor still wants to hit the streets on Thursday. Are you surprised that they are surprised?
Yes, I'm surprised. But first of all, we are not hitting the street as we say demonstration. We say we are striking. And strike is not necessarily hitting the street.
Okay, so you lay down your tools.
Yeah, we are asking our members to stay at home, to lay down their tools.
Okay.
To come to work. So that is what we are asking them to do.
But
so you will remember that on Friday we met with the president. And a number of things got said. It was a good meeting, a productive meeting. But we also then asked the government to put something down on paper. Because it was put down on paper. And then we took it to our membership. And the conclusion from our members was that what has been put down on paper essentially do not go far enough. They were not adequate in respect of our demands, in addressing our demands, but also in addressing the Galamsey money. So our members then decided that our strike notice still remains, even though we are still open for further engagement. It was put down on paper for us. Okay. So for us, we made a decision based on what was written to us.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here. So what was written to you? What was written to you?
I think at our meeting, the Secretary General read out those things. Of course, it included, for example, a revocation of the airline when Parliament reconvenes. And on that particular issue, for example, our members were of the opinion that we know that in this country, if something is urgent and if government is really committed to doing something, sometimes it requires Parliament from recess to be able to suspend the law even before Parliament meets. Okay. So these are some of the things people were expecting to be done. And also an immediate order to the security agencies to move to those river bodies where people had equipment and ask them to evacuate those equipment from those river bodies and forest reserves. But as it is, what was communicated was like, okay, we will do this, we will do that. People want to see action, not what I call best endeavor wishes.
Okay, so what they intend to do in this statement from the Ministry of Information, it still does not change your mind? Is the sit down?
I mean, so the meeting concluded on the note that we are open to further engagement.
Okay.
So nobody then should express surprise. So if there's something more that government wants to do or can do in respect of our demands, but in respect of the national effort to do something about Galamsey, we are open for dialogue. I mean, unions talk. It's only when the talk completely breaks down that we say, okay, we are no longer.
On the 8th of October 2024 at 8:10, will the withdrawal, or will you lay down your tools in 2 days' time still?
Yes. That's so essentially our communication following the meeting yesterday was that the strike notice remains unchanged.
What will make you change your decision between now and Thursday?
It's as simple as trying to meet our demands, which we put forward.
There are some people who are warning organized labor not to be used by the opposition, specifically the NDC, in their quest to gain power. How do you feel about people who feel that organized labor has now become a political tool?
I mean, you see, I am somebody, I've been with organized labor for a very long time. And in most of our meetings, when I'm doing presentation, I made this joke that in this country, everything is so politicized that by the time I finish with my presentation, people will ask whether he's MPP or he's NDC. So it's understandable that once organized labor takes a certain position, people will read partisan meanings into those positions. But we can assure the public and our members that we are not doing partisan politics.
What do you say to people who say, why now? Why now all this agitation about Galamsey when you have about 2 months of the election? Why now? What's your response to that?
So our statement actually explains that we think that the Galamsey menace and the risk it poses to our ecosystem has reached a crisis proportion. So for now, it's a crisis for us. That is the reason why we are acting and we have decided to join the fight against Galamsey.
Last year by this time, we need to take some action. What was that moment?
So when the Ghana Water Company put out a statement that because of Galamsey activities in the river trap, they no longer can produce water for the people of Cape Coast, Elmina, and its environment. It's a trigger point for us. Okay. And when we see all the videos of our forest men and women being put from their lifeless body being put from Galamsey pit, it's a trigger point for us. And I'm sure it is for many other Ghanaians and organizations, including the Catholic Church and other religious bodies.
4 days ago, the Ghana Water Company in the Central Region provided an update on the current water supply situation in Cape Coast, Elmina, surrounding communities. And they said, well, they have successfully reduced turbidity levels from an average of 14,000 NTUs to 9,000. Water production has increased significantly, and they believe that things are on the up. What's your reaction to this particular update?
It's an indication that the pressure all of us are mounting on government and the other agencies seem to be working. It seems to be getting us results. That is all that I can say. So, for example, if he had not raised this issue, if he had not given the earlier statement by the Ghana Water the attention they had gotten, probably nothing would have been done. Okay. So, all of us are looking for results. And that if, as a result of the things we have been doing in the past 2-3 weeks, the situation in our river bodies and forest reserves of illegal mining activity.
Is every single union on board for this withdrawal of services on Thursday?
I mean, our meeting yesterday and the way it was reported and everything suggests that there are people within our ranks who do not fully agree to the intended strike. But again, it's all part of what we have in Ghana today. That there's always a tendency to politicize some of these initiatives. Okay. But beyond that, I mean, trade unions are democratic organizations. And we proud majority have decided the rest will follow suit. So I am optimistic that if eventually this strike takes on, all the other labor groups will come around because it is a majority decision that we have to make.
So you're not concerned, as I'm reading from Daily Guide, that reps from TEWU, NAT, GPRTU, and CLOCSAC have expressed concerns over this call for a nationwide strike against Galamsey. You're not concerned too much?
I am concerned, but I'm saying that we are still in dialogue with them. Okay. And I'm appealing to them to realize that as democratic organizations, once the majority have taken a certain decision, it is incumbent on everybody to rally around that decision. We are looking at all workers of Ghana, both private and public. So that is huge, including yourself and your colleagues in the studio.
You don't want me to report on your strike?
We will find a way because they are also what we call essential service workers.
Exactly.
So if you fall within those essential workers, service workforce, why not?
How long will this sit down take place? How long will it last?
Our communique says that a nationwide indefinite strike until government meets our demand.
No retreat, no surrender?
No. I mean, we only surrender when our demands have been met.
We'll leave it here. Thank you so much. Deputy Secretary General of the TUC, Dr. Kwabena Nyaku Otu, who says actually. Is it? Yes, on the 10th. Oh, yes. Talk about it. Yes, indeed. Yeah, since we have people of the mind sitting here in front of me. Yeah, so what do you make of his stance?
I think there's an issue of, like Prof said before, trust. They don't trust the government. And what are the practicalities of making sure that what you say is going to be done will be done in a few days' time? It doesn't look real. You know, when you have to solve a problem, you have to be able to bring out pragmatic steps of solving the problem. We don't know the pragmatics. Soldiers to go there. Soldiers have been there before. They ended up dealing in gold themselves. So you have to be very prudent and say things that the unions will say, oh, well, fair enough, I think, Mr. President, we're on board with you. They haven't heard that, and that is why they keep on and on and on.
Prof?
Yeah.
Mistrust, eh?
It's mistrust. The union leaders themselves, their followers don't trust them. They'll say, oh, maybe they went and they gave them something, and so they are backing down on their. So when you go here, mistrust, now they should do what we want to see.
Okay, messages, please do what you want for us in terms of messages. 055-556-1034. Here comes Elliot Yemu Tete. You believe the CEO of Bureau's Commission should be fired by now for saying that he's still issuing licenses to small-scale miners as of now because nobody has asked him to stop. And he's also said if you don't give them the license, they will mine anyway. And you are wondering why he's still at post. Elliot Yemu of I'm sure Mr. Yesi will have, Health Minister should have stepped down by now. Ministry of Environment should have by now come out to apologize to Ghanaians, if not for political gains. What country are we building for ourselves? Ask Selassie. Togbe Ghana says Galamsey is a national security threat and criminal. We need to wake up. We need to name and shame all those involved, prosecute all of them, either NDC or MPP. This is a big selfishness, and you believe this nonsense must stop immediately. Tech Charlie says ghosts and unknown spirits are not doing the Galamsey. Human beings are. In fact, they are doing it in broad daylight. Well, authorities look on until we got to this stage. Yeah, in Yunnan police station, right behind there, they're doing it. It appears as though the Galamsey fight is a fight with ghosts and spirits. I think there's never been a fight against Galamsey. Good morning, GTV Breakfast. Good morning to you. Mr. Ghost of Spirits. Good morning to you. Let us not turn a blind eye to the destructive impact of Galamsey. Time to take a stand against this illegal activity and protect our environment. The earth is the Lord's. There's a verse in the Bible like that. And God also says in the Bible that he will deal with those who destroy the environment. Yeah. So you are in trouble, divine trouble. Let's work together to ensure that illegal mining activities are eradicated and replaced with sustainable and responsible mining practices, says Aaron. Okay. Are the people still mining in the rivers or near the rivers as this menace is being discussed? Please let Ghana know you are frightened, says K. Asante. They're doing it. You see the videos all the time. They're still doing it. Our leadership always waits until issues get out of hand before taking action. It's not helping us. As a nation, we should sit up and build Mother Ghana. Stephen Kwabla from Odumasi Krobo. Eben from Kwabinya, kudos to organized labor for not rescinding their decision to embark on strike coming Thursday. The Galamsey situation is critical. I don't think the president should for good. That says Elikim Akurugu. All righty.
MP4.
All righty. Dawood from Nkoko. You think the government is running away from their responsibilities? The Nana Akufo-Addo government is running from their responsibility. That's your view. Thank you. Please tell the NDC people to stop the politics. We either blame everyone or we don't blame anyone at all. APP tried and Ghana let them down. Fact is. Good morning, Kaf, please. Why are you happy about reports on Ghana Water about the Western region? I didn't express any happiness. I pointed it out to the union man, whether he was concerned, he was excited about that news. The Densu you and I use in Accra is getting polluted. It's true. Then whether the TUC demo happens or not. Okay. All right. All these, I believe, are politically motivated. It's a national issue. These approaches are not helping, says Eben from ODK. ODK must be your doctor, eh? Sami T says, I'm very optimistic this nation will work again. Inshallah. Organized labor, kudos. Thank you very much for your messages. World Mental Health Day is on Thursday. Just a quick word from you before we wrap it up. I'll start with you.
Right.
Yes.
I see too many schizophrenics walking on the roads naked, dirty, and nobody seems to be looking after them. We need to go back to those responsible for them as to whether they need to be kept in there for a very long period of time or to be discharged up to their relatives. And they should follow up by community healthcare workers. Because if tourists come to this country, and even we ourselves,
we're not safe.
See walking naked men and women, it's just not good enough. It tells them what the country is all about. Every country has a small population. Budget estimates, there should be budgets. If you go to the hospital now, you find that medication itself is a problem. Staffing level is a problem. Half of them are running out to other parts of the world. And so government should pay particular attention. In healthcare, you don't only look at mental health issues. So please, 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 we need to have resources. Their land, they have about 7-acre land there. They could look at it and reconfigure something.
The psychiatric hospital?
Yes, and do something better. Kolebu itself has a lot of land.
Yes.
They could have a daycare center where they can come in and go back home during the day. You know, you have a population in Accra of about, what, that many, 2-3 million people, and you don't have a place for psychiatric patients? It's terrible. We should wake up. The Minister of Health should have been doing something about this long time ago. If you're in power, you must work. You must not be worried about yourself and your family. That's not the way to run a country. Thank you very much, Mr. Day.
Thank you so much, Mr. John Kukujani, who is our forensic psychiatry specialist, sending out a call ahead of World Mental Health Day on the 10th of October. We need to deal with a lot of this schizophrenia cases that we're seeing on the streets and just up our game. Well, he used to be Dr. Bruce. He's now Prof. Bruce. A man of the mind as well. You're a psychologist. World Mental Health Day. What's your message?
If we cannot control ourselves, then we begin to show signs of mental health related problems. Number one is you don't have any good source of water to drink. There are issues of LGBTQ, issues of unemployment, relationship issues, price of goods and services escalating and getting out of reach for the poor. Now Ghana, we have coined a very good definition of poverty. We say multidimensional poverty. We are so glad to say all those things. We are telling people that our poverty status is so multidimensional that you are vulnerable to any of the segments of that multidimensional poverty status that we are in now. When we use these words, it's a signal that are we ready to protect each other? So, our mind controls us. If something gets inside it and is no more working the way it should work, you are in trouble. For example, there's a link between the mind and the stomach. So when you are eating naturally, your stomach is full. That linkage, the limbic system tells you are okay. But if you want to make the limbic system become dysfunctional, so you no longer respond the natural message that you are okay, stop eating, you go and take alcohol. So the alcohol will dysfunction the functions of the limbic system. That's why you eat and eat and eat and eat at it. What is the effect? Your stomach. Let me do it. You see, let us make the environment so peaceful. Let's create more opportunities for people that they will not have to think and think and think and think before they act. No. There are people now in are very high and out of the reach of many of our brothers and sisters. Two gentlemen came to me the other time. They are on pension. Their pension amount 350 Ghana cedis a day, a month.
$20. Wow.
Can 350 Ghana cedis take you through the whole month?
No.
You are a man with a family. You go to church and if you go to church, you don't contribute. When they are praying over the offering, they say, God, those who are not able to give, bless them so that next Sunday, when they can, they must also give. Have you heard that prayer before? Even the prayer over offering is sending people away from the church. The church too is not tolerating poor people anymore.
How? Wahala day.
No, please.
I wish you could end on some good news.
Can I just make a quick comment here?
We are almost done. Yeah, 30 seconds.
About the witches' camp in the north.
Yes.
Where I suspect or we know that old ladies who perhaps have Alzheimer's disease and dementia are seen as witches. They're being killed. We need more education, we need to do more for them and look out for them.
Indeed. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Mr. John Kuku Jani is our favorite forensic psychiatrist specialist. And our favorite clinical psychologist has to be none other than Professor Daniel Bruce. We wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Coming up next is a conversation that Maltiti will be having with the founder and leader of the Ghana Union Movement, GUM, Reverend Christian Kwabena Andrews. You know him by another name. And maybe Maltiti will tell us why he has that name. And he wants to be president of Ghana. What are his policies? You'll be finding out in a very short while. This is GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafri Day. Stick around. GUM is next.
Thank you, Kamwe.
Yes.
back to the show. Representatives of their constituencies and a president of Ghana to man the affairs of this country. He claims that selfishness is one of the reasons why he broke away from systems, and law and order need to go hand in hand. You can send us your questions. I'll introduce my guest to you in a bit, just a bit of suspense there. 055-556-1034. That's our WhatsApp number, 055-556-1034. Alternatively, leave us your questions on our Facebook stream at GTV Ghana. Today in the studio, now let me tell you who he is. Maybe you'll be surprised to know that he's a graduate teacher, but he's a man who believes in Ghana's vision. He's talked about reviving Dr. Nkrumah's factories and even adding on work under him when he's done that. Today, my guest is Reverend Christian Kobna Andrews. He's popularly known as Osofo Chre Apostle, the founder and leader of the Ghana Union Movement. Osofo, good morning. Welcome to Manifesto Watch.
Thank you very much, my dear.
Great to have you.
Good.
You launched your campaign about 8 months ago. I saw you on platforms talking about, at the time, electricity tariffs that were going up and, you know, your agenda for reviving our factories. I'll let us go into your manifesto and the key policies and break it down for a bit. But I'm sure you saw the video of River Pra meeting the ocean.
It's a shocking thing that I've seen.
Yes.
This, I think the leaders of this country are not serious. They are not serious at all, because you see, you can't continue to eat your eggs and have chicken. If you continue to do this, we're not deeper into it. After NDC and MPP came to the scene, that they came and joined, and then they have destroyed everything. These, you don't have money to buy excavator. They can't buy anything of that sort. You people have the money that you purchase them, you give it to them, you teach them how to use it, and they have been using it to destroy all these things.
Right.
At the beginning, when they were having this very galamsey, they were doing in a shallow way, where they just get the surface, this thing that they just wash and get something out of that. Mm-hmm. But look at the situation now. Because of this introduction of this payloaders and that of excavators that have just continued to destroy more land, and they keep on saying, oh, it's just all because these youth don't have anything to do. Idle hands definitely will go into that.
Okay.
I did a program on this, and a gentleman called me and said, Pastor, I was a security at the Galamsey site, and every week I get 1,000 Ghana cedi. But I saw that it was a risky. I usually been paid 700 cedis a month. And due to that, I'm thinking otherwise, whether to go back into the Galamsey again. Look at the way that we are treating our youth. The scanty money that we are giving to them.
Osofo, how do you intend to deal with that? Galamsey, and then giving them a
I'm going to seize all the licensing that they are using in doing this very Galamsey. The president or the government himself are going to mine the gold in this country. I said this on a particular platform that people were saying, Pastor, why do you have to say that? Me, when I come, even international people, those who are mining this country, are going to seize them. They can't mine our gold. We have the right to do that. If you have anything to come and just cultivate yam, come and cultivate something and export, but not the gold that God has given to us, the mineral, that we are going to use it to develop our country. You have taken the position of getting all these things and giving us scanty money out of this.
Does Ghana have the resources to mine, refine,
we can do it.
Products?
Dubai had a petrol. He decided not to bring anybody in, investor, but he said, I want expertise to come. Okay. Mine it for us, we'll pay you.
So you bring foreign companies to mine?
Come and help us to mine. Okay. We need your knowledge, your direction, then we pay you off. But we are not going to let you, as we have given a whole petrol that we have in this country to invest it, that in the night, Akufo-Addo is asleep, everybody is asleep. Then they take all this petrol through the sea, then they take it away. All the workers are not there.
So you're going to revise the agreement you would have with
I'm going to revise the agreement with the multinational companies. They will sit down and think about this, and if they are prepared to listen. If they are not prepared to listen, Nima boys are there, Northerners are there, the strong men. We will beat them up, they will leave.
You will beat them up?
They will beat all of them up.
The foreigners? You have
madam,
the wrath of the international community.
It doesn't matter who is international. We have our son reign on us here. How can we continue to just give them chance to rule our life, destroy our youth? Look at the situation that they are in now. We cannot continue to allow that to happen in the country. Okay. Every foreigner, any foreigner who is listening to me, pray that I don't come to power. Me, if I come to power, no export of timber.
No export of timber.
No export of. If anybody want a wood to maybe build in this country, it will be free. There will not going to be any hindrance. Nobody is going to stop the person. We need to interrupt our country. But if you want to sell one maybe wood in a foreign country, maybe one single wood will cost you $100. If you like, sell it. If not, I will not let you to sell it. Because we are depleting everything. When you go to America, they have forests. They have reserved. They don't cut any tree. They are waiting for a time for them to cut, for us to be slaves to them. Gold are being mined in this country. They are said a few years to come, my dear. You go and they will price this water with an ounce of gold because they have taken everything from us. If you want to go and buy excavator, they will price it with an ounce of gold. What are you going to get them? Because they have taken everything. And your hands are bare. Where are you going to get that very gold to buy those things and bring it to your country?
Okay.
It is a matter of time. These people, they should wait for me. I'm coming.
I was going to ask you about reclamation of the lands that are being depleted.
Definitely, we have to do that. We have to reclaim the land and also plant trees. And also these very waters, the destroyed ones, we need to dig a very big dam. Direct all this very stream into that very dam. And we will rather descend and bring some of the sea to cleanse all this before we rather turn it back to the sea. So that when we dig a very big dam somewhere, we can direct all these rivers into that very dam. We leave it, then we redirect the river canal. For when it rains, we get a fresh thing out of that.
Amazing. Thank you for your thoughts on that. Let's move on now and talk about your manifesto. I know that key among them, you talked about old age, how you seek to empower vulnerable groups. Old age, you've talked about the youth seed capital of 10,000 Ghana cedis, electricity, looking at revamping of the factories. And because we're talking about, foreign nationals and companies and revenue, let's talk about the factories and the 10,000 Ghana cedis seed youth.
You see, we have so many factories that Nkrumah established.
Yes.
Yeah, established, which have been abandoned. Let's go to Kumasi Shoe Factory, revamp this very factory, and open a school for the factory. We have a shoe factory school. We go to Islamics factory school. We go to Kadi Matches factory school. Palugu Tomato factory school. We go to maybe Bonsa Ties factory school. So that when we do this thing, any child who want to go to Bonsa SS school, then is going to learn how to make tire. Those who want to go to Kumasi Shoe Factory School, they are going to learn how to make shoe. So that all these very things that we are learning, Pyro Square and a tree and a mosquito and the others, will be no more. We are going to scrap all these. You need to produce. So all this factory will be revamped.
Okay.
Then once we are doing all these things, we are training the youth to go to the factory, maybe 3 hours, they come to classroom for 2 hours. They close, another people too will come. Okay. We continue to do that. We are not going to let people go so much this thing on that very. And this thing, the seed capital, I was talking about. Every youth over here, if you ask them, I can't bring you because I don't know your bank statement. You ask them, they don't have even 5,000 into their account. Ghana Union Movement want to establish in the way that we are going to give every youth 10,000 Ghana cedi. Somebody will ask you, where are you going to get this money
from?
MP V8 is 100,000 Ghana cedi, which is 16 billion. Even right now, it is $150,000. You understand? 16 billion divided 100 million for the youth. 160 youth are going to get 1 MP's VAT. 10 MP's VAT, 1,600 youth are going to get 10 VAT money. If you are giving it to them, 10,000 Ghana cedi. 100 V8 for the youth, 100,000, 10,000 Ghana cedi. About 16,000 youth are going to get that money.
Close to 2 million of them are
excellent. You see, so we can resource them. We open a free port, then Burkina people will come, Cote d'Ivoire will come, Nigeria will come. The youth are going to use their identity, whereby we have this galamsey site to maybe cultivate cash crops, pepper, granite, pepper, tomato, and the others. We can give them machines to pump this water to just cultivate these very crops so that they too can sell and get something. We say now, as of now, every youth in this country owns, or every citizen owns about 220 million, which is 22,000 as Ghana's debt stands now. Now, if everybody owns 220, start something, then they will continue paying certain things for us to pay our debt.
I heard you talk about taxes as well. You don't think that the youth and their businesses should be taxed, the electricity
Not
tariffs.
at all.
So how do you intend to service the over 700 billion worth of debt and then support the economy?
If you're going to sit down with them, we talk about debt relief that they have to give us about, we don't agree, me, I won't mind them. You see, they can take me to hell. You see, we sit down with you. That is what Akufo-Addo Papa, the father, did. Akufo-Addo Papa said, he did the same thing. And when the champions brought in a slogan, it's an international debt. If a new government comes into power, you will sit down with them and tell them that, I'm a new. The debt was not incurred by me. Somebody did it. But we need to reach into that. So give us maybe a 2 years relief so that our youth can go in.
Is a champion your role model since you're...
Oh, he did well. A champion did well. Dansuma Estate, Kanishi Market, there are so many estates in Kumasi. He did so many. You see, when you sit down and look at the situation in this very country, we need to drive away these leaders and let the youth take over. They are not serious. My dear, we have not come there. Me, when I come today, if I went power today, for Akufo-Addo to the last person, I'll collect all their passport and put it in a basket and put it in a room and wait for them to judge before they'll give them their passports.
Judge them? You mean prosecute them?
Well, excellent. Prosecution, starting from the pastors who push Akufo-Addo to build the cathedral.
You prosecute pastors
excellent. They are going to answer to that.
But you're a reverend, and the house of the Lord...
Reverend. We are talking of our country, we are talking about reverend. What is a reverend for? Reverend for what? Everybody is a reverend. But you too, you can be a reverend.
That was a tourism avenue as well.
Tourism. When you look at this now, it's just like a swimming pool. It is not the fault of Akufo-Addo. It is the fault of the pastors who engineer, pushing him, do this, because...
But they pulled out, actually. A lot of the archbishops pulled out later. They sent out...
Some of them pulled out, but the money that they collect, they will pay.
Wondering, the 10,000 seed capital for the youth, is it every month? Is it once?
No, it's once.
Okay.
You give it them, then you're not going to tax them. Because you see, market tools and everything, you see, those who have money across maybe 1 billion, which is 100,000 Ghana cedi, that they are going to work with it, that we need to even tax them little by little. But those who this country money, ice water people, those who are selling on the street, you give them ticket and the others. All these things need to be cancelled. We just have to tax our mindset, whereby we have this century, which is Nunum. We have this champion lives there, that we can make medicine out of this. Let people be aware that this can heal hearts. Let's sell to them the world. They will come and buy for us to get resources. To me, what I don't like to that's
what do you intend to
do? Want, if you want my cocoa, I want to Elupre. Take my cocoa, I'll take the plate.
There's going to be a barter system for you.
I don't want in a way whereby you go and sit in the room and print your paper and give it to me as a loan, and you come, you don't take my CD. That's stupidity.
Who ensures that there's no corruption in that? We've heard of procurement issues and corruption. That's why the Office of the Special Prosecutor...
And what kind of special prosecutor? What are you talking about?
Would you have one of
my
your
fault.
own? Oh.
It will never happen. It will never happen in this country that we are going to have any special prosecutor. That very era will go off. Because you see, tell me what they have done.
They have prosecuted
Who?
cases.
And who? Give me an example, my dear.
The former president,
you can't
John
remember.
Mahama, the Airbus scandal, recently they
what is
him
it?
of all wrong,
And have they judged? Have they come out to any judgment? There's nothing of that sort. It's
working with the
thing is, you see, if you come into my government, our government, I know you are going to vote for Gum. If you don't vote for Gum, God will punish you. Then you come to my government, you are going to bring a destiny, a Kuratra. I'm giving you a ministry. Go to maybe trade ministry. I want you to bring me Kuratra. Let people come and testify that you are a true person that I can give this work to you. My dear, you have a chief in your hometown. You have brothers and sisters that they know, they have vetted you, they know that you are very true to people, that you cannot disgrace them. So they can even bring their building papers, go take it. We believe in you. You are not going to disgrace us. Anything, I will just sell all this thing to pay the debt. I will never allow anybody, me will be being at the parliament. Even if your two fingers should be cut, we will cut it.
You cut people's fingers?
My dear, we will make a law in this country. You see, we need to do certain things that will not attract people who just want to come in.
Is a significant right.
Even God open earth and bury people. You have two fingers cut. You just be happy that you just cut your two fingers. We didn't even bury you. My dear, we are not going to joke with these people.
You're watching Manifesto Watch. My guest is Reverend Christian Kobna Andrews of the Ghana Union Movement, and we've been unpacking quite a bit about his manifesto, the seed capital for the youth, the reviving of factories and building of factories. Send us your questions for the man who is seeking to be the next president of Ghana and lead Ghana to a prosperous future. 055-556-1034, 055-556-1034, or on GTV Ghana, our Facebook page. Also, some people will be wondering, who do you look up to? Which leaders do you look up to? That's why you are gunning.
Nkrumah did so much. Nkrumah did so much that you can't fathom to it. When you think about the things that Nkrumah did, and also proportionally, he just distributed everything to every region. Me, if I come to power, this GBC people, GA group will work here. Every region, every tribe will get a representative in a GBC.
We actually do. We have Obonu TV.
I'm coming.
Okay.
When you go to Ministry of Education, the same thing. When you go to airport, the same thing. So if anybody comes from Warware, he comes here. Where do you come from? You come from Warware. You bring that person to speak to proportionally. Every region, every tribe will have a representative over there, so that Ghana will be united. On the front there, we just move on. As we are speaking in English right now, I know definitely you have another, and I want people to follow whatever Nkrumah did.
You think we are moving away from
totally
vision?
But the enemies are here. MPP, they are enemy to Nkrumah. Nkrumah ideology, they throw them away. They decide not to even mention Nkrumah's name. They ban Nkrumah books. Anything that Nkrumah did, they think it is something that is awful. It's all because they are not in the shoes of Nkrumah. That Nkrumah wanted to lift this very country. A woman in a ministry, to take $46 million to go and clear Odo River. Are we serious as a nation? And we don't prosecute this person. And if somebody is stealing $1 million from the person's home, Nanado comes out and say, I know you'll be free. I know you'll be set free. Already you have concluded the matter, my dear.
But our courts are independent.
My
our
dear.
judiciary is independent, isn't it?
I want GBC to go and do a research and see the number of people that have been appointed to the court system. Send it in there. We have the correct ones there, and those people too are there. So you can't get proper postponement upon postponement.
Why are you the man Ghanaians should vote? Why are you the future president of Ghana?
I am in not to tax the youth, but to help them to develop the entire destiny that God had for them. We have our resources. We have gold, we have this, we have that, but we are just giving to individuals to make them self-rich, while the youth are suffering.
The youth on the streets currently even fighting on Galamsey and those in Raymond. What are your thoughts on that?
There's no need for them to go on street. They won't get anything out of that. Demonstration in this Ghana, in this country.
It's a democratic.
My dear, if you continue to demonstrate, nothing better will come out of it. So don't go and wound yourself.
How do you express dissatisfaction with the system?
My dear, these people, they don't have ear to hear. They don't have any ear to hear us. None of them have the ear. So just leave them, campaign, advocate for them to be removed. That is the most important.
Dealt with that?
Pardon?
How would you have dealt with young people wanting to demonstrate, or to have you give them a listening ear?
You give them, because they don't have any work to do. That's why demonstrating. But if I come and I give you a school, go to Kumasi Shoe Factory, there you have a work to do over there. How will you go out and demonstrate? By 7 o'clock, you get your money on your mobile money. Then you come home and rest. The next morning, 5:30, you are going to work. What are you going to demonstrate? Because
a bit of time.
Thank you very much.
So I want us to go into your, support and empowerment for vulnerable groups. You talk about old age benefit.
Yeah. You see, every Ghanaian who is up to 60 years or above, somebody was at the gate of GBC. He was selling cocoa. Now he's grown up. He's at home. He didn't even give birth to a child. Even if you are a government worker or not government worker, you need to get something little. As you are sitting now, Titi, I don't think you allow your mommy to go and join a queue and take 500 Ghana cedi as a old age benefit. Because somebody helping you to grow, you need to help that person to live and die. So old age benefit in our policy that we have in our manifesto is that every Ghanaian is entitled to benefit from that. Just as you attain 60 years, definitely you are going to.
So
every month you get something out of that. And definitely we have the gold as they are destroying everything. We will mine it properly. That we are going to seize all the licenses of those gold miners, and government is going to mine the gold himself. Using these people at the Galamsey side because they have the knowledge, but they don't have the resources and the proper way of doing it properly, and resource them, and they will move on. The old age benefits are there that definitely we are going to support, and healthcare.
Healthcare, free medical care.
Free medical care. When you go to Botswana, during the independence of Botswana, which is 1960, they were not having a single university. Botswana people decided to build a university. They charged every house one cow. Okay. They gave one cow to the government. The government sent the one cow to the European Union, and they get the money and they put this in the university to boost them. Now, as at now, Botswana, if you go to university, you have been paid. You've been paid 1,500 every month. Those who are who will be at home, who are not in boarding house. Now, in Ghana, what is happening to us? Look at what Mama said. If I come, I'm going to pay university. And this is not something that you used to campaign. It is mandatory. We need to do it for our people.
You are a trained teacher yourself, and you went to a table training.
I went to a table training. When I was in training college, I was being paid. I was receiving a salary every month. Between 1989.
Yes, you were talking about the medical care. So is it the monies they'll be receiving that they used to take care of themselves? Or there's going to be a scheme like National Health Insurance?
National Health Insurance is bogus. You go and pay something. You go to the hospital, you won't get anything there. But to me, I'm going to bring, just get the ideas. We said to text, if it is for malaria, we put it at the hospitals. We were going to tell all the farmers just to cut these leaves and bring them into the factory to sell, to get money.
So you're going to build an industry around herbal medicine for healthcare.
Good.
Childhood cancers, will it be free?
Everything is going to be free. We need to look after our people. What are we doing to ourselves? We go to South Africa here. If you don't have any work to do, every month you go and collect money. South Africa, you're able to do it. Why can't we do it? We can look after our people. You see, we need to care. We need to care. Look at the money that these people are taking out of money. 2019, they printed money. 2020, they printed 100 Ghana cedi, 200 Ghana cedi. At the same time, they loan. They corrected high duties. They increase tariffs. They increase electricity. They increase this and that. Where is the money? My dear,
let's move to the agric in the sense you talked about herbalists and farmers. What do you seek to do? Because farmers in the north are having challenges with rainfall, and government even had to, put a hold on exporting some of our grains.
You see, our leaders are so lazy that they don't want to work hard. Now, look at the farmers over there. Why do you continue to depend on the rain? Nana Akufo-Addo came, he gave a promise of one village, one dam. And now, they are there just like a pothole. Nothing is in it. Now, we dug this very water from the ground. You see, the communities everywhere, we need to have this very water, borehole and the others. We have the machines in India. Let's bring about 200 into the country. Even every 20 houses, in between 20 houses, we have one borehole there. In between every 20 houses, we have one borehole there. Go to this north. In America, they don't depend on the rain. They depend on the water on the ground, underground. They bring them out to use in cultivating all these things. Why can't you do the same? So we are going to do mechanized farming, whereby we are going to remove this cutlass and hose farming, that we are going to bring in these tractors to use them to plow, give the opportunity to the youth to go and use the plowed land. Government need to get the land from the leader, because the youth don't have any land to farm. We need to be pace setters, whereby we are going to have the land very big. We plow for the youth, get the seed, plant, cultivate. When we, the time of harvesting, the government is going to buy certain things. The moment that everything is abundant in the country, we are not going to allow them to bring them in again.
You are going to ban food imports?
They are even killing us. The thing that we are eating, that using the thing and the other. When you get mushroom today, you see, time I said I want to do a tomato paste factory in this country. And I talked to some people in China. They told me if I want a flour one, if I want flour tomato paste, it will be cheap. If I want rare tomato, it will be costly. So for Africa, they will produce me with the flour tomato with the this thing, a taste of tomato and the flavor. For that one, the person who will cut the tin tomato will see that it's a tomato, but it's a flour.
But it will be mixed.
They will mix it with it. So all this in they are killing us slowly, but we don't know. So we need to depend on the local things that we have in our country, so that we can grow and live long.
Farmers and galamsey, cocoa farmers, how do you intend to deal with?
We are going to bring back Tetakwashi cocoa, whereby we are going to produce the seedlings and give it to the farmers, cultivate. You bring back this Tetakwashi cocoa, which is the only thing that they use in doing those things is DDT that we are going to have. They won't go into that farming. When you boost them, it will gradually, it's going to help them a lot. And we are going to depend so much on the cash crops. America are cultivating maize farming. Last year, America got about $90 million in maize. Every 3 months, maize is ready. Every 3 months, maize is ready. It's serious. They put it in the 10 days, bring it to us to buy. Why can't we cultivate our land? We need to do these things and help our people.
We need to do these things and help our people cultivate the land, incentivize cocoa farmers and the youth. We've talked about youth empowerment and opportunity, seed funding. We talk about the old age benefits as well. We're just going to dive into the messages now. Send them to us, your questions for Osofo Bosom. 055-556-1034, and King Kafride is at the screen now with your questions. King Kaf, what are the people saying?
Yes, Maltiti, here they go. Good morning. My name is David from number 2 Ashaiman. The man has a great mind to rule. Ghanaian youth should wake up and vote for him because he's great and he has wisdom like former President Nkrumah. Welcome, President Goom. No Goom, no vote. That's what he says. Danning says, I love the passion of Mr. Andrews. Unfortunately, our economy is so devastated that his efforts must first be directed at effective ways of generating revenue before focusing on welfare programs. So how are you going to raise money? Reverend, that's their question.
Right.
Yes. How are you going to raise money?
You can go at that.
Raising money, we are going to depend on the resources that we have. We have mineral resources that we have, petrol and the other. That's why I told you, Nima people are going to beat these people up.
This is lawlessness.
Oh, Master, of this very petrol that we have. We are not going to accept that. Let's sit down. Give us 30%. You say you don't like it. Ah, madam.
Okay, so they don't like it, they should leave.
They will leave. And give our petrol to us. We are going to bring new people to come and mine, help us to mine. Because they are using our own youth in mining. It is not those people who are mining. No. Nkrumah said, I have my machinery, no, I have my land, I have my building, I have my people. All what I need is your experts and the machine. Bring it to us. We will pay you off.
Okay.
More messages. How will you cut people's fingers off? Saying this only means you're not fit to be president. International laws. You are talking like a dictator. How do you respond, Reverend?
The thing is, I'm not a dictator. I'm saying that make a law in this country to do that. It is not me going to make the law. All Ghanaians are going to accept that. If you go to a parliament, they won't approve. You go to referendum.
You throw it to, okay.
We go to a referendum, no or yes.
The court of the public.
Just move on.
Christian Osayasibe, texting from Kumasi, the cabin. He says, please ask Reverend to retract his statement saying that God will punish you if you don't vote for me. This is not Christian talk. Also, for what do you say?
Madam, are you going to vote for me or not? Just a mere statement. But I know definitely going to vote for him.
Good morning. Reverend Andrews can change Ghana. That's one message there. Cutting of fingers is against the human rights. Goom, please come again. Maxwell from Tema. This is, please ask Reverend Andrews if there will be any accountability for the 10,000 CDs youth seed fund to be shared.
Right.
Kenneth Omashaiman.
Yes, so what happens if...
As a startup capital, it is their own destiny.
So if it collapses? What?
If it is their own destiny, you see, we will give it to you, we will tell you, we will give you an opportunity to use the money for. So if you give it, give you opportunity. Somebody can even go use it at home, buy his furniture and the other. It's his own cup of tea.
Okay.
Others too, you can't think of the disadvantage. Definitely the advantage would outweigh the disadvantages.
All right.
So they say you prayed for God to kill all leaders. Would you also like to die abruptly?
If I embezzle any amount of the money in this country, God should punish me and die and kill me. Because I'm prepared to pray, continue to pray to God that those who take Ghana money unlawfully, you see, should die.
Why for you instant justice?
I prefer those things to happen.
Okay.
Why wait to be president before doing all you want? You should start doing something for your church members. That alone will prove that you are the man for Ghana.
My dear, go to Ofanko here and put them in a big hospital. I'm going to train junior doctors and junior nurses. Right now, go to Kuala Lumpur. You have this kidney machines.
The dialysis.
Dialysis machine. I have 5 of them here in Ghana.
Okay.
You see, people don't know what I have done, and there's so much.
There's a lot.
Last question:
who are there here today, and those who are going to be voted into the power, that they have a heart of Ghana. They have Ghana at DC.
You don't mind pulling from other political
all inclusive,
parties. Okay.
All inclusive.
All
and some of them too are now vying for in the northern region. Follow me, and let's save this country.
Thank you, Ka, for your messages. Your final running mate is a woman. What's happening with the choice of a running mate being a woman?
Because I just want a woman to go to get their share, whereby that very woman can continue to propagate and things for the women.
Okay.
You can't use the mindset of a man alone to develop the country. Even the proportion of the women in this country are even exceeding the men in this country. So they too can reason and bring their ideas. That is why I participate.
Amazing. Final on house and rent is a big issue for a lot of young people in Ghana.
Yeah.
Several governments have tried putting housing units for workers, for the youth.
We are going to have a new Takoradi, a new Accra, a new Kumasi, a new Tamale, These are places that we are going to build single room, self-contained, so many
of this infrastructure.
But we have the resources here. We are not going to depend on the loan alone. No. We have the resources. We might, as I told you, cement. Those who are producing cement, they are foreign countries who are producing cement. We are going to stop them. Ghana are going to produce our own cement so that we can put up the iron rods people and the others. All these people, they are going to stop. We have to do it ourselves to develop our country. We cannot continue to raise the prices of cement and raise the price of iron rods, those cutting this wood for building, all these things. We are going to just care for that. Take care and everything will be all right. Ghanaians should vote for number 4.
Number 4 on the ballot. Number 4 on the ballot. And I wanted to gauge your thoughts on that. What does that mean to you? In 2020, you were number 3?
Yeah.
And you're number 4.
Yes.
Some have said that the selection of the ballots even is shameful for our democracy. What happened there?
What happened, the exchange of hands that went there, everybody saw it on TV. It is their own matter. It is their own matter. The one who exchanged the hand is in the barrel of MPP. They are all on the same bed. And so there's nothing wrong with it. Yes, they have their parties among us who are propagating for them. And so let them be there. Okay. Nanado was one. He was on the ballot sheet. He was number 1. He has collapsed this country.
Back on Manifesto Watch, lots that we have talked about. Thank you for coming. Osofo Chere Abasim. Reverend Christian Kobna Andrews is the man, number 4 on the ballot, and he's popularly known as Osofo Chere Abasim. We have talked about Galamsey, we've talked about health, free medical care, old age benefits. We've talked about reviving the industries that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah built and the ones that he is going to put up as well. And that's it. You can watch it again on GTV Ghana where we stream live. I am Maltiti Saida Sadik. There's more on GTV Breakfast. Stay with us.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir. God will not punish me again.
Prophecy time. Abraham and Sarah, twins. Go and